Now, Nebraska, one half of the ball looked pretty good last week. 37 points in the opener against Wyoming, but the defense really struggled against what was a mediocre Cowboys attack a year ago. Averaged less than 400 yards. They got 602 against the Huskers. What does Bo Pelini's team do now as they try to turn things around? He's with David Bennett.
Coach, week 1 to week 2, you're looking to make monumental gains. How did you feel this week of preparation went for you?
I thought it was good. I thought we got better as the week went on. I think their understanding got better, and you know, we just got to be more efficient. We just got to not be our own worst enemy out there tonight, and you know, just relax and play ball. And I think our guys have a lot of confidence heading into this.
You speak a lot about the process and staying the course. How have your guys accepted that challenge as you look to make improvements?
Well, I think, you know, it was obvious. You look at the film, and it's easy to do. It's easy to stay the course and understand, you know, okay, you know, what the coaches have been preaching and what we need to do. It's staring us right in the face. And, you know, we approach it in a black and white way, and I think our guys have approached it that way, and hoping to see some good gains this week.
Coach, best wishes to you today.
Thanks, Damon. Appreciate it.
On a hot September Saturday, a sellout crowd of over 90,000 has filed into Lincoln's Memorial Stadium to watch their beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers play host to the Eagles of Southern Miss. And just moments ago, the Cornhusker marching band taking the field under the direction of Anthony Falcone.
It's football Saturday in Memorial Stadium, and there is no place like Nebraska.
A tradition here inside Memorial Stadium, led by the head coach Bo Pelini. The players leaving the locker room. My partner tonight, Eric Crouch, knows all about this tradition. A nice little long walk to get your thoughts together, to get excited for what waits on the other side.
It is. It's actually a short walk. I'm ready to jump out this window onto the field right now. It's so exciting to walk out in this tunnel. It's a tradition around the country. People know Nebraska's tunnel walk, and it's a part of the game that gets you so excited to play.
And a good way to get those nerves behind you and just be excited about playing instead of nervous or thinking about it all week.
Yeah, you know, it's just something, you know, the game is here. It's on you. It's time to go out and perform and do this as a team.
And perform in front of over 91,000 at a renovated stadium, Memorial Stadium, here at Lincoln, Nebraska. BTN Primetime Football is presented by Buick for the second consecutive season. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles paying a visit to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the now 19th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Thanks for being with us. Welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska for the 327th consecutive sellout here inside Memorial Stadium. This is a stadium with a history as rich as any in the Big Ten Conference. It's played home to 5 national champions and also 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Johnny Rodgers, Mike Rozier, then in 2001, that man right there, my partner this evening, Eric Crouch, awarded as the top individual player in the nation. The Huskers went on to the national title game that year. That was Eric in 2001. Here he is the this evening. Looking forward to having him as my partner here tonight. So last week, Nebraska wins over Wyoming 37-34. The offense is good. There's plenty to feel good about, but so much concern right now over the defense.
It is. There's a lot of concern, and Husker fans, just relax. It's a time to come out and play hard football. There's a lot of youth out there in this game, and the only way to learn that is to go out and play the game.
Head coach for Nebraska is Bo Pelini. Right now, he's joined on the sideline by another former Husker, Damon Benning.
Coach, you just want to relax and play football. It's been a long week for you. How you feeling?
Good. I feel good, and I think our team, like I said, I thought we learned a lot from last week's game. A lot of guys who got those first game jitters out of the way, and I told them in there to just go do your job, relax, and play football, and go have some fun.
Coach, go have some fun. Best wishes to you tonight.
Damon, Bo, thank you very much. Eric right now has our Napa know-how keys to victory for the Huskers.
Well, on offense today, it's about Taylor Martinez finding a rhythm with his football team, finding a balance in the running game, finding a balance in passing. I don't think they were too happy with their performance. Although there was 530 yards put up on offense last week, they still didn't seem satisfied. And on defense, let's play smart football. That's what they're telling their players this week. They've kind of made some adjustments during the week with linebackers and defensive ends, and it's ready to go out and play the game defensively.
If you had to pick out 3 impact players, Eric, we see them right there. Why are you looking at these 3?
That's right. You look at Quincy Enunwa, what a beast he is. I expect him to get more than 3 touches this week, although 2 of those last week were for touchdowns. Deontay Evans, the cornerback, expect him to play nickel a lot tonight and be the leader of this defense. Corey Cooper, a player that played at free safety, watch him to make big plays in the middle of the field and support the running game.
Had a look there at Taylor Martinez, and we're looking forward to watching his 41st start here as the Husker quarterback. As you can see, it is warm here. We thought it might be closer to 100, so it's hard to feel too good about 94 degrees, but we thought it was going to be even warmer. And we've already heard Bo Pelini on the sideline with Damon Benning, the 3rd member of our team. 6th season here as the Nebraska head coach, and a lot to feel good about, a lot of reasons to be excited about his 6th team here in Lincoln.
Yeah, that's right. Bo Pelini's going to do a great job. He's just more relaxed. I think he's more comfortable in his 6th year as a head coach of this program.
And a man he has a connection with, the first-year head coach at Southern Miss, that's Todd Monken. He coached wide receivers at LSU in 2005 and 2006, and that was when Bo Pelini was the defensive coordinator. Both men speak very highly of each other and the other's family. Not thinking about the other too much tonight here, as they both just want their team to be better in week 2 than it was in week 1. Todd Monken last year was the offensive coordinator, actually the last 2 seasons, the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, as his team put up huge numbers there even after Brandon Weeden left to become a first-round draft pick. We're going to get a first look here at that Nebraska defense. The defense that gave up over 600 yards of total offense last week in that 3-point win over Wyoming. Interesting story at quarterback for Southern Miss. That is Alan Bridgeford, 5th-year senior quarterback who spent his first 4 years at Cal. When new coach Sonny Dykes took over for the departed Jeff Tedford, he told him he would not be in the mix for the starting job. Decided to transfer, decided to follow his quarterback coach Marcus Arroyo, now the offensive coordinator at Southern Miss. In order to be eligible to play right away, had to graduate from Cal. Did that in July, drove to Hattiesburg, showed up just before camp started August 1st, won a 4-man race for the starting job, and last week against Texas State threw for over 300 yards, 377 to be exact. Here's his 2nd career start at Southern Miss. Looking right to the air, coming underneath. And he has a receiver he likes there a whole lot in Ricky Bradley. He caught 7 passes for 193 yards last week. That one good for 7.
Right, they're going to go for some tempo, and I think that's the greatest thing you can do is early in the game get Bradford a quick pass, complete it on the outside, let him feel the rhythm of this game here in Memorial Stadium on the road.
And the signature part of college football right now, Eric, the hurry up, the pace. They want to run a play every 15 seconds. That's an inside give to number 3, Tyree Bracken, as we take a look at tonight's Auto Owners Insurance starting defense.
Well, I think you're going to notice here in the quarterback position, they're going to try to balance. They're going to get a feel for Nebraska's defensive line. How physical are they going to be tonight? Are they going to be a team that is able to run the ball against Nebraska's defense? Or are they going to come out trying to throw it here in an empty set?
A week ago, Eric, they threw it 70% of the time. And I know they'd like to run it a little more, but this is a team that if it does have success on offense, it's going to start through the air.
It sure is, and it starts with Todd Monken in his mind. And here he goes.
Stanley Jean-Baptiste with the pick. And the 6th touchdown, Huskers. Jean-Baptiste had an interception against Wyoming, and he likes this one even better. His second pick of the season, good for 6 points.
Yeah, it's early in the game here. Bridford just eyes him down the whole time, and Jean-Baptiste just steps in front of it. He saw the quarterback's eyes, got to the end zone for a touchdown.
You would expect him to have good ends. He was a star wide receiver at Miami Central High School. Eventually switched over to defensive back here, and his second pick of the season goes for a Nebraska touchdown and gives the Huskers their first points of the season. Well, we start off the broadcast worrying about the defense a little bit. They said, we've got something for you. We've got a pick 6. Huskers up 7-0. Nebraska's scoring drive brought to you by Cadillac and provided, Eric, by the defense. Stanley Jean-Baptiste, after Southern Miss, picked up 1 first down, 43-yard pick 6. Extra point makes it 7-0 Nebraska.
And Paul, at the beginning of the game, we talked about defense. What a huge play this was for the mentality of a young defensive team to come in and in the first drive score a touchdown defensively for your team.
And there is Stanley Jean-Baptiste, the man who scored that touchdown. And the Golden Eagle offense. John Papuchis liked what he saw there in the brief stay by the defense. And Southern Miss will try to get back on track here in their second drive. Jeremy Hester, defensive back deep. Let that one go through the end zone easily. Through the end zone, all kinds of leg, and the Golden Eagles will start on the 25. Let's check in with Damon on the sideline.
Yeah, guys, it's almost uncanny. Talking with a few pro scouts that were on the sidelines up close and personal, I asked who those guys were watching. They said, there's a guy, number 16, by the name of Stanley Jean-Baptiste. He's got all-pro tools with an all-pro frame. Guys, his ears must have been burning because he makes a play right on cue.
You talk about that frame, Damon, and big corners. NFL loves big corners now, and Stanley Jean-Baptiste, 6'3" and 220. That counts as a decent-sized linebacker.
It does. It'll be interesting to see how that wears down as this game goes on. Are the big corners going to beat up the little receivers?
Tyree Bracken, the tailback for the Golden Eagles. He takes it inside. And the Husker defense there to ride him down. Thad Randall, veteran defensive lineman, also the freshman linebacker Nathan Gary, and that's a gain of 2.
Yeah, and right now at this point, being able to stop the run. I know last week against Wyoming, Nebraska had some difficulty stopping the running game. So these are such important plays at the beginning of the game to get this game started for them. Just getting in that groove, making smart decisions, getting off blocks, and making the tackle when you have the opportunity.
They gave up 219 yards of rushing offense for 7.3 yards per carry against Wyoming. Bridford with time, and that'll be a Golden Eagle first down out to the 38-yard line. Bridford picks up 10. If you can't find your game, go to btn.com/gamefinder right now to see where you can find your game. Bridford with the inside give to Bracken, and the Nebraska defense is strong. Ciante Evans is there from his cornerback position or nickelback, and that's a gain of 2.
Good play, too, by Randy Gregory, actually coming on the outside and making sure that play didn't bust big. He used his speed to get down the line and secure that tackle. Had an opportunity last week to make a big tackle at the beginning of the game, and then comes back this week and actually makes that tackle and helps that stop.
Guys, it's interesting, too, when you talk about copycat league. You see right now what Southern Miss wants to do with flaring it back out of the backfield, and already Nebraska making an adjustment. They're kind of playing zone on the front side while they're chasing with Evans, playing zone behind it. And then on the backside, guys, nice combination defense to try to jump that drag route.
Due to technical difficulties on BTN To Go, all games tonight will be streamed live on BTN or BTN.com. John Papuchis, defensive coordinator for Nebraska, familiar with Bo Pelini from their time together at LSU. This is 2nd down and 8. Bridgeford quickly underneath. Nebraska defense in pursuit. Was a completion to Tyree Holmes, the freshman who had 12 catches last week. Josh Banderas, true freshman there for that Nebraska defense.
Yeah, great job by Banderas coming up. But Ankara here, you can see him, number 9, how he forces the play inside back to where all his help is at. That's how that play got stopped. If he lets him outside, you know, it could go down the sideline for a big play.
3rd down and 8, knowing this defense the way you do. You sit back and play coverage, or you come after the quarterback?
Yeah, at this point in the game, I think Nebraska's got to start bringing a little bit of pressure and get in the face of Alan Bridgeford.
They bring 5. They forced the early throw, but Bridgeford with a good decision and the accuracy. Out of the backfield, finding Tyree Bracken for a gain of 17 and a Southern Miss 1st down.
Well, that was just a huge play right there. The Nebraska defense had pressure from the outside. You see Ankara with the swim move, gets in Bridgeford's face, and then Ty Bracken wide open. Nobody covered him. That picked up the 1st down and keep their drive going.
And that's the one thing that we heard from the Nebraska coaches all week. They said, ignore that loss to Texas State. When it comes to the passing game, the quarterback, the running backs, the wide receivers, they have talent that jumps out at you. Talent that has the Golden Eagles inside Nebraska territory. There's the Nebraska run defense. Valentine, the youngster, no gain.
Vincent Valentine inside. He's that big boy. He's about 325, 6'3", and they're very excited about his opportunity on this defensive line. He's a plug, and he just beats up the offensive line and finds the running back in the hole and drops him for a loss.
Redshirt freshman, and whether it's redshirt freshman or true freshman, you see that a lot on this Nebraska defense. 10 true freshmen or redshirt freshmen on the 2 deep of this year's Nebraska defense, at least right now. Bridgeford gets rid of it quickly. Looks like he wanted to work that back shoulder fade. He was thinking one thing, Dominique Sullivan thinking another, and that's incomplete.
Yeah, it is. I think they're trying to set up Nebraska's defense on their corners right there. Hit them a little bit shallow, make them play the outside edges, and then don't cut it for 1 second. Todd Malkin and his mentality of throwing the football, he's going to take it for a shot for the end zone here pretty soon.
3rd down and 10. Moments ago on 3rd down and 8, Bridgeford found Brackens out of the backfield for a gain of 17 as Nebraska brought 5 that time. We'll see if they dial up a blitz here. No, they don't, bringing only 4. Bridgeford still in trouble, gets rid of it. Banderas, the true freshman, with the tackle to keep that to a gain of 5.
And again, Randy Gregory getting in the face of Alan Bridgeford. I think this could be something that Alan Bridgeford is going to say, you know what, where is number 44 on defense when we line up? And what a great stop by a young guy, Josh Banderas, being in the right place and not giving up the 1st down.
Husker defense allows Southern Miss to move inside its territory, but they hold there on 3rd down and 10. And Jamal Turner back to receive the punt from his own 5. Excellent job by the Southern Miss special teams. No gain on that return. Eric Crouch, when you win a Heisman Trophy, you might as well get your name here on the stadium. There it is.
Well, at least they didn't spell it wrong, right? They spelled it right. That's what matters.
Eric has done this every day the last 12 years. We just happened to catch him with his Heisman Trophy yesterday.
Tell you what, I got a sore back from picking that thing up the other day. Not in shape I used to be.
We're back right after this. Nebraska fans only have a handful of times each fall to tailgate here, so it's 94 degrees. So what? You're not going to let that get in the way. Still going to get out there and tailgate before you come inside and watch Nebraska play host to Southern Miss. Stanley Jean-Baptiste, the cornerback for the Huskers, with a pick 6 early, and Nebraska leads 7-0. This is the offense's first time on the field here for Nebraska. And that's Amir Abdullah picking up 3. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, Taylor Martinez, and why he's changed and become such a leader for this team. It's not just his physical ability that he brings to the table. Everybody knows that he can run and throw this football, but it's the mental capacity, how he's changed as a person, how confident he feels in his own skin, and how that trickulates through the rest of this team. They really look up to him this year to lead this team and be the leader and the captain for them.
Classic I formation. Abdullah remains the tailback. He has it for the 2nd play in a row. The Southern Miss defense is there to keep that to a gain of 2. We talked to Todd Monken during the week. One of the first things he said is, well, it feels like Taylor Martinez has been there forever. Well, he hasn't been there forever, but last week he did become the first Nebraska quarterback to start 4 consecutive season openers, making his 41st start here at quarterback tonight.
Yeah, he's been around, and you know what? When you have a player like this, you appreciate him on offense and what he can bring to the table. And I know they want to be a little bit more balanced tonight and show a little bit more than they did in that first week.
We're down in 5, flushed out of the pocket, shows some of that speed there. Don't believe he made it to the stick, and that's a gain of 3 when he needed 5.
Well, I think what you've seen here is a little bit of testing the water, so to speak, on that defensive line for Southern Miss, and they're tough, they're athletic, and they're going to be able to move and get off blocks. So right there, I think on this first drive, they were testing. We're going to see the looks. Weren't quite sure maybe what they would line up in this defensive front in the secondary. How are they going to play their coverages? And so we saw right there probably just an opportunity for them to check it out.
Back deep to receive, Jalen Richard, sophomore running back for Southern Miss. Excellent punt there. Sailing out of bounds. No chance for a return. And Southern Miss will take over on their own 36. And just to review the Nebraska defense, what happened last week, and Eric went through at the top of the broadcast. Even though the Huskers won, they gave up 602 yards of total offense, and that by itself is a bit of a red flag. But then you go back to the final 2 games last year against Wisconsin, against Georgia. They've given up over 18 yards of total offense to those 3 teams. So that's really the concern. Not so much that it was just last week, but it's a little bit of a trend.
It's right. It's about depth, too. I mean, they're trying to find who's going to play well in their position. This is a multiple defense. How are they going to come out and play when they're in 3-man fronts? How are they going to play in 4-man fronts? How can our linebackers respond to the passing game? And those are some of the things they're going to be looking for tonight.
Empty backfield on 1st down and 10 for Alan Bridgeford. Plenty of time here, looking to his left, and he has a wide open. And I do mean wide open freshman Tyreon Holmes. Caught 12 passes last week, and that's his 2nd catch tonight. And just like that, Southern Miss inside of Nebraska territory.
I like what Bridgeford did right there. He went from the whole entire right side of the field. He looked back to the center and then found an open guy on the left side. So really great vision early on in this game for Alan Bridgeford.
34 yards. Bridgeford to Holmes. A couple of players who played for the very first time at Southern Miss last week. Bridgeford, the 5th-year senior quarterback, and Holmes, the freshman wide receiver. Play action. Look at that pocket for Bridgeford. Nice play by the true freshman linebacker, Josh Banderas. Just getting a mid on that one.
Another opportunity here for Bridgeford to throw one in there. He looks left and he comes back, and they really didn't see Banderas sitting there in the middle of the field, holding that zone in that area for him, getting his big paw on the ball and stopping that from being a completion.
Damon, come on in. What are you seeing?
Hey, it's interesting here. Now, the communication is already better than it was a week ago. Nebraska knows how they want to play it as we take a look at them rolling the coverage now. And the key for these guys is to make plays when they're in space, because right now I don't think they're confused at all. They're talking to one another, and we're getting a lot of head nods. So check the list in the box that says communication. That right there's got a red in right now. They're talking better to one another.
That was a gain of 2. Tackle made by the junior corner, Josh Mitchell. To bring up a 3rd down 7 situation. Bridgeford has the Golden Eagles on the move, though, on the Nebraska 27. Huskers bring 5. Bridgeford sees man coverage and gets an excellent catch out of the backfield from Tyree Bracken for a gain of 16.
Well, what's interesting on this play is you got Avery Moss is in defensive coverage. And I think the mismatch is exactly what he found. He saw Moss, a defensive end,
I guess,
covering a receiver type player, or excuse me, the running back down the sideline. And right there, when they have a mismatch, as a quarterback, you know as well as I do, you're going to go for that play.
You like the tailback against the D-end one-on-one?
Yeah, I think so. I think that works out.
Exactly how you draw it in practice. Back to the air. Bridgeford underneath to Holmes. Down to the 5-yard line. And the tackle eventually made by Jason Ankra. Ankra, a quality player here at Nebraska, but he's an example of what they have on Nebraska on the defense right now. You go from being a trusted role player, you got to be a star now in that front seven with all they lost from last year. Second down 4. Jalen Richard, the tailback, to the left of Bridgeford. Once again, a quick pass. We have a penalty marker down as the Golden Eagles get into the Nebraska end zone. Penalty marker on the 11-yard line. Before the Golden Eagles get too excited about that, let's check in and see or hear about that penalty marker.
Illegal formation. 5 in the backfield offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Todd Monken bringing all kinds of experience in the passing game in the National Football League. Also major college football here to Southern Miss. The last 2 years at Oklahoma State. Prior to that, he learned under Dirk Cutter, who is now the offensive coordinator with the Falcons, but then was the OC with the Jacksonville Jaguars as he coached wide receivers in Jacksonville from 2007 to 2010. This is second down and 9 from the 10-yard line. Whistles blew just before that one started. For back-to-back plays, the Golden Eagles with penalties, giving back 10 yards.
You really can't be giving up penalties right now on the goal line when you have opportunities to score against Nebraska's defense. The mental mistakes can kill you.
Mistakes cost them the game last week, Eric. They outgained Texas State 400 to 207, but had 6 turnovers, -5 in the turnover game, so mistakes really cost them a week ago also. Now it's second down 14. Bridgeford swings it out of the backfield. And unable to hold on, Jalen Richard. And it'll bring up third down 14.
Yeah, and I think they had Nebraska's defense outflanked, some good blocks up front by the receiving corps. And then Richard just not able to hold on. I think his eyes looked upfield. He was worrying about taking that big hit. Instead of catching that ball first and then making a play afterwards.
Third down and 14. The Golden Eagles do not have to get in the end zone to keep this going. They can get just inside the 1 for a first down. Bridgeford rushed by Gregory, and that forced the inaccurate throw. Intended for Tyrone Holmes, but Randy Gregory was in the face of Alan Bridgeford.
And I think Randy Gregory is having an outstanding first quarter here, putting pressure on Alan Bridgeford. He comes off the edge with speed, and you see the swim move, and then he dips his shoulder and gets right in his face. And I'll tell you what, that's what forced that bad throw, because he did have a step on the defensive back.
Corey Acosta. 4th and 14, in to see if he can make it 7-3 Nebraska. And he does just that. Alan Bridgeford passes the Golden Eagles into Nebraska territory, and a field goal makes it 7-3. Look at all that red. This is the 327th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium, dating back to 1962.
And this game of checkers and chess, guys, right now, Coach Monken very adamant about spacing as Nebraska's playing a lot of man-to-man, especially inside the red zone. It's all about the splits. Ton of rub routes, ton of pick patterns. Communication, we thought it was important last week. It's even more paramount now.
All right, Damon, and we heard from Bo Pelini yesterday that they're not starting out the season by playing 4 or 5 coverage and easing into this thing. They are loading those young players up and seeing what they can handle.
Yeah, they really are. They talked about that, and I'd be surprised, maybe this game if they didn't back off just a little bit, getting a few different sets and let some of these young guys play and feel comfortable in a few different calls before they start throwing the whole kitchen sink at them. But if they did it last week and the production was 602 yards, you'd think there'd be a few adjustments that are made.
Exactly, and you consider all that new back there. They had only 3 players on this defense that started more than half of the games last year. So you're giving them a lot, and it's also you're breaking in a lot of young players for that Husker team. Here's Kenny Bell, veteran wide receiver. Bell brings it out to the 32-yard line. Let's go to Dave Revson for an update in our Chicago studio.
Paul, thanks. Northwestern scored on its opening drive against Syracuse. Kane Coulter, who was injured last week, got the start. He hits Trayvon Green on the touchdown pass. 7-0 Wildcats.
Big game for those Northwestern Wildcats against Syracuse after the big win last week at Cal. You can see there the defense as a team and individually performing well for Northwestern in week 1. Amir Abdullah had a couple of carries on the first drive. Here is his third of the evening. And he's going nowhere. It is only a gain of 2. Taking a look at the starting defense here for Southern Miss.
Amir not really finding that crease that he's looking for yet. Account that to the speed and quickness of these linebackers of Southern Mississippi.
Empty backfield now for Taylor Martinez on 2nd down 9. 3 wide receivers to his right and a pair to his left. Quickly, this is his tight end, Jake Long. Nebraska first down and then some into Southern Miss territory as the Huskers pick up 18.
This is a nice read by Taylor Martinez right here. He saw the linebacker walk up on the line, and what he did, he saw Alan Howes, 37, walk on the line, and he knew that once he came up on the line, he was going to have some open space to hit that tight end quickly.
Taylor was 17 out of 22 last week against Wyoming for a $155 and 3 touchdowns. And that was his first completion tonight. Back to the ground game. Amir Abdullah not touched until he gets to that 43-yard line. Nice job of blocking as the Huskers pick up 6.
They do. They pick up 6 because Amir and his style of running, he is a kind of a slasher type player. But don't forget that he is a power runner as well. You saw him lower his shoulder and pick up 2 additional yards on that play.
Look at how quickly Taylor Martinez getting that ball snapped to him. And just a little flip to Amir Abdullah. As the Golden Eagle pass rush was right in his face, number 99 is Octavius Thomas.
Or at least he had his head in that direction, Taylor Martinez, because he did see this rush really come from the outside, unblocked right there. Number 99, Octavius Thomas, and putting a hit on Taylor Martinez to remind him that this is a physical defense and they will not be backing down.
And to remind us that there is such a thing as going a little bit too fast. It looked like the entire offense not quite ready for that one. This is 3rd down and 7. Underneath to Anunwa. Pulls it in. Fights for a little extra yardage. Just enough for a Nebraska first down. Anunwa picks up 8 yards.
Another good job of Taylor of reading the middle of the field and being open. And I'm really excited. They're getting Quincy Anunwa involved in this game early. Get him some touches. Make sure that they're recognizing what he can do as a receiver.
Made the most of his 3 catches last week against Wyoming. 2 of them went for touchdowns. Abdullah out of the backfield has a little crease and a burst out to the 26-yard line, just enough for another Nebraska first down. The best run so far for Abdullah tonight gets him 13.
Yeah, some really nice blocking on the outside, but Amir Abdullah making one cut and getting up the field. This is one of the things that he does best. He uses vision and his quickness and makes a quick decision.
19 carries for 114 yards last week. His 7th career 100-yard game, as he had 6 last year. First down and 10 from the 26 to the air. Martinez flushed out. And wisely just gets rid of that football. So you make 41 starts, you have a chance to make some mistakes and have success and see how you deal with both. Think back to what he was in 2010, Eric, as a freshman quarterback and what he is now. How do you think he's grown the most?
Well, I think that play right there is a prime example. You see Taylor Martinez get flushed out of the pocket, use his speed to extend the play, look downfield, see that there's nobody open, and just throw it out of bounds. I think his freshman and sophomore year, he would have tried to make that throw.
Amani Cross, the tailback, now into the right of Martinez, giving Amir Abdullah a break here on 2nd down 10. Cross also went over 100 yards last week. He had 13 carries for 105. Martinez over the middle to Kenny Bell. Another Nebraska first down. quick decision, good accuracy, and a gain of 14.
Well, I think what you're seeing here is Southern Miss is trying to show some different looks and blitz in a lot of different packages, but when Taylor Martinez is dropping back there and you're playing man coverage and he hits a guy in stride like Kenny Bell, that's the first thing that can take you out of your blitz package.
And this would be a blow to the Southern Miss defense. Number 37 is Alan Howes, the linebacker, the leading returning tackler from last season. Damon Benning, come on in.
Hey, I tell you what, a couple key things here. Howes, one of their studs on defense, led the team in tackles a week ago. That they need him to return. But the other thing, you might wonder why you're seeing Long in the slot. He's a tight end by personnel recognition, so it looks like 11 personnel. But guys, he's not playing the normal tight end spot. It keeps Southern Miss in their base package because they have to play against 11 personnel.
You say 11 personnel. Explain a little bit what that means there, Damon.
One back, one tight end is the first designation goes to the tailback. The second number is for the amount of tight ends in the game. So you could be 12 or 22 or different personnel packages. And that's how teams know how to play against you on defense.
First down and 10. Amani Cross remains the tailback. There's Cross right up the middle. And even the power back at 6'1", 225 can only be expected to do so much. And that's a gain of 1. Kenny Bell was shaken up a little bit on that first down reception for 14, is back in the game.
And you see Jake Long stepping back there kind of as a fullback off the line. And they have a run-heavy tendency when he's back there to pick up a big block and try to spring a run.
Second down 9. The Huskers need to get to the 2-yard line for a first down. Ball snapped a little bit early. Martinez to his left. He can keep it himself and show that speed. Trying to turn that corner, and that's a gain of 7. Not quite enough for a first down, but a good decision. You saw a little bit of how he can turn it on there and accelerate.
Yeah. Again, this is an opportunity where Taylor Martinez may have just thrown this one up for grabs, but he saw Kenny Bell in the background. He was clapping his hands looking for him, so I think Taylor just had made his decision already, and he was just going to try to pick up the yards that he could.
And there's a discussion going on right now because the penalty marker down on the 14-yard line.
Illegal motion, offense, number 41, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Number 41, the senior tight end, Jake Long. Had a catch earlier here in this first quarter. Also had one catch last week for 26 yards against Wyoming.
Well, Nebraska's tight ends are such a big, important part of this offense because they are a balance. They do have 3 running backs. They have got great receivers. Matter of fact, they got 3 of those too. So having a tight end to be able to go in there is awesome.
Second down, 14. Martinez with time. Quincy Anunwa, touchdown Huskers. Yards Martinez to Anunwa, and it's 13-3 Nebraska.
Paul, I like the numbers. You got Quincy Anunwa, 5 catches this season, 3 touchdowns.
That's good.
He's the type of player I think you're going to be looking to get the ball more in his hands this game.
Carl Bondi on to attempt the extra point to make it 14-3. Anunwa now 2 catches for 24 yards, and as Eric mentioned, 3 touchdown receptions on the season, 2 against Wyoming and now 1 against Southern Miss. You like for your senior leaders to step up? How's this? Captain to captain. Martinez to Anunwa. The Huskers up 14-3. This October, BTN's award-winning original series is back. It is the show with an unprecedented look inside a Big Ten season. The Journey, Big Ten Football 2013, presented by Best Buy. It premieres October 9th on Big Ten Network. 124 left here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Quincy Anunwa with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season to make it 14-3. This after the defense put points on the board early. Stanley Jean-Baptiste has a pick 6 as well. Once again, Southern Miss will begin a drive from their own 25-yard line. Well, this is about how you draw it up, Eric. Plenty of time here for Taylor Martinez, and I think we can also call Nunwa open.
Well, I like the pass protection here, too. It's still the quick game, so Taylor goes to the left side, then back to the right side, and Quincy Nunwa beats his guy one-on-one and has about a 4-yard step on him. So really hard for Taylor Martinez, or not hard at all for Taylor Martinez to pick him up and throw him the football.
When the line protects Taylor like that, you think about all the talent he has out wide this season, and not only number 18, Anunwa, who's a captain just like Taylor, but Kenny Bell, the speedy senior, the speedy junior, and also Jamal Turner, high school All-American quarterback who just gets better and better in that slot. 1st and 10 now from the 25.
Game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Todd Monken not happy with the fact that his offense not set when they were supposed to be.
No, those penalties have been killing him. Last week, you said mental mistakes, 6 turnovers, protecting the football, but one of the bigger things is getting up to the line and running your play.
Bridgeford coming underneath. That's intercepted by Seontae Evans. Nebraska has its 2nd pick 6 of the evening. Stanley Jean-Baptiste did it first on Southern Miss's first drive. And now Seontae Evans follows up.
Great read here by Alan Bridgeford. Just put a nice touch pass on Tyree Holmes. And just being lazy with his eyes in his hand, looking for the hit before the run. And what a spectacular job of Seontae Evans picking that tip pass up and taking it for a touchdown.
22 yards, the interception return for Seontae Evans, his 2nd interception of the season. And just like Stanley Jean-Baptiste, his 2nd ends up in the end zone. The Husker defense has put 2 touchdowns on the board. Quincy Nunwa also has a receiving touchdown, and Nebraska leads 21-3. Nebraska defense came to play this evening, at least so far. Stanley Jean-Baptiste, an interception return for a touchdown. Seontae Evans moments ago did the same thing. And Taylor Martinez has a touchdown pass to Quincy Nunwa. 1:17 left in the first. The Huskers lead by 18.
No fun for Stanley Jean-Baptiste, and because he might have thought he was going to be the only one with the 6th pick, but then Seontae Evans comes back, gets himself a 6th pick. So I'll tell you what, they're probably saying, hey, I'm going to go get another one.
Might be more of them out there. Golden Eagles will start on the 25 again. Stay tuned at the half for the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report. Dave Howard and Coach DiNardo have you covered for highlights and analysis, all that's happened up to this point on your Big Ten football Saturday. So Alan Bridgeford, Eric, has a couple of interceptions already, and I was getting to know about him the last couple of weeks. A lot of talent, some pretty good production last week, but interceptions have been an issue. A couple of games he started last year at Cal, at Oregon, at Oregon State. More interceptions than touchdowns, just like last week against Texas State.
Protecting the ball is number 1. After looking back on that replay on that touchdown interception, the ball was just a little bit behind the running back.
Accuracy so many times comes into play when a pick shows up. That was Jason Ankra keeping it to a gain of 1. Richard, the running back for Southern Miss.
Southern Miss has really got to get this tempo picked up. You've got to complete some short passes. Got to get the flow of the game back again. After 2 interceptions for 6 picks, you've got to be wondering, okay, when are we going to settle down and start playing our offense?
Moving the ball just fine. Just 2 turnovers really hurting them. Bridgeford looking to the outside. Don't know if it was a catchable ball, but that was a push from Stanley Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, sure was. I just think he had his hand on him, and a little bit of a good acting routine out there by Ricky Bradley and turning around to the referee.
Number 16, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
I like the confidence that Bo Pelini showed us when we met with him yesterday, Eric, talking about the defense, and everybody in town talking about the 1,800 yards they've given up the last 3 games. But he's calmly said, you know what? Sometimes you have to get out there and make mistakes to learn. I like our guys. I like their confidence. We made some mistakes, but I just know they're going to be better.
Right. He truly and wholly believes that he's got the talent that he wants in the defensive schemes that he calls. Just a matter of getting them in the game and feeling comfortable.
Play action. Bridgeford, first down, Southern Miss. Big hit by Harvey Jackson, but the Golden Eagles pick up 13 yards.
What a nice job by Alan Bridgeford, standing in there and delivering a nice ball, putting it on the back shoulder, protecting his receiver a little bit as he got down, avoiding the big hit, and keeping this drive going.
Third time that Southern Miss has been inside Nebraska territory, but they only have 3 points to show for it. Again, they have those 2 interceptions. Bridgeford under heavy pressure. Stanley Jean-Baptiste almost had another interception, and once again we see Randy Gregory in the backfield forcing an early inaccurate throw.
You know, I don't know the conversation that they had with Randy Gregory before this game, but they need to have it with him before every game, because I tell you what, he has been in the face of Bridgeford all game long, and I think Bridgeford right now is a little bit concerned when he lines up. Where's number 44?
The injured Golden Eagle right now on the play, number 81, is Ricky Bradley, the wide receiver, the senior who last week had 193 yards receiving.
It's like he went up and jumped for that ball and just came down and caught his ankle right there at the very end. As Stanley Jean-Baptiste came down, you'll see it right here at the end. His back just grabs his foot and twist his ankle just enough. Hopefully one of those things he can just walk it off on the sideline and be back in this game.
Second down 10, the Huskers bring 6. Bridgeford gets rid of it quickly. And that's James Cox picking up 8 yards.
Another young player to talk about, Nathan Gary, who made a tackle on this last play and really helping Stanley Jean-Baptiste right there on his missed tackle.
Bo Pelini watched his offense and defense perform quite well in the first quarter. Defense puts up 2 touchdowns. Quincy Anunwa with a receiving touchdown, and it's 21-3. Weeknights, we invite you to join the conversation on BTN Live. It's the most comprehensive nightly college football discussion for the guys who love to talk about the game. BTN Live, weeknight, 6 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. First quarter in the books here at Lincoln, 21-3, the Huskers on top. And this is 3rd down and 3. This is Bridgeford trying to keep it himself. He's going to be a couple of yards short. Nathan Gary, true freshman linebacker. He's roommates with Josh Banderas, the other true freshman linebacker you've seen play here tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, they weren't fooled at all by the quarterback draw, and a little bit surprising that they would try to call this play, and knowing that the push that they've been getting by Randy Gregory on the outside, an ability to be in his face. So a little bit interesting on the play call there for Todd Monken.
Jamal Turner back to receive the punt for Nebraska, going to let that one roll. Hats off to the Southern Miss special teams unit as the Huskers are pinned inside the 1-yard line. Our Damon Benning on the sideline with a special guest.
Guys here with Barrett Ruud, former black shirt, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Barrett, tell me a little bit about what you see with these young linebackers as they try to grow into this defense under so much scrutiny of a tradition that you're a huge part of.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I love seeing them out there, first of all. I like the fact they're playing really hard because there's going to be mistakes. When you're a young guy, you're seeing things for the first time. You're going to have mistakes. The key is they play hard. And what you really want to see is improvement from a week-to-week basis.
All right, before we let you go, you know a lot about playing early and playing young and playing often. Any tips for these guys that we can send back to the guys on the staff here?
Yeah, you know, worry about yourself. You got to worry about your own football. You know, there's a time when you don't want to study too much of the opponents. You got to study what you're doing and make sure you don't make mistakes, because that's what it's about. Be accountable to your teammates and run to the ball, and you'll be fine.
All right, 2 quick defensive scores. That's got to be a big deal for the guy that was throwing bones earlier.
Hey, you like that? Because hey, nobody cares about you make tackles. They want to see you score touchdowns, as you know.
Hey, Barrett, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game. Guys, one of the all-time greats, and not only that, one of the all-time good guys.
A couple of former Huskers down there on the sideline. Good to see those two smiling. And also, I like to play call there early.
I do. I agree with that. I think take a shot. You got Quincy Anunwa, who's going to go up and get a ball over anybody. So I like the call.
Amir Abdullah for 3 yards to the right side. It'll bring up 3rd down 7.
Yeah, you see the big body and the big frame just running downfield of Quincy, and he gets in front, he gets a little bit positioned. I think if Taylor puts that ball a little bit more up towards the middle of the field, Quincy has a better chance of making the reception.
Taylor Martinez right now 5 out of 7. Has the 1 touchdown pass to Quincy Enunwa. No interceptions and no poor decisions. Nice job at taking care of the football. Out of pocket for a moment, then flushed out of the pockets, and the Southern Miss defense. First of all, you say nice coverage because Taylor had nowhere to go with the football. Then the pursuit brings him down.
Yeah, that's right. And I think this is a smart decision by Taylor. Again, not trying to force the football. I know it's early in this game. He's looking at his reads. He doesn't feel comfortable with what he's got. Now take the ball. He's got the speed. He's got the athletic ability to get upfield. But what I credit right there is good pursuit by the Southern Miss defense, showing their athleticism and able to contain Taylor Martinez early in this game.
So that's a 3 and outs, and a nice job by the special teams of Southern Miss. That drive started inside the 1-yard line. Richard back to receive. Colts gets off a good-looking punt. And there's going to be no return, or there is a return now. A non-traditional return, we shall say, Eric, out to the 41-yard line, a return of 5 yards. 12:43 left until halftime. The Huskers lead by 18. Time now for tonight's Marine Corps leader. Number 41 is Jake Long, senior tight end out of Elkhorn, Nebraska. You see him there before the game, being honored along with his family. Recently placed on scholarship, he started his career as a walk-on. 2-time academic All-Big Ten. 2013 won the Brooke Behringer Citizenship Award. 3.857 GPA, and 1 catch tonight for 18 yards. Josh Mitchell, textbook tackle from his cornerback position on Tyreon Holmes.
Yeah, I really like that tackle right there. Decide not to go high on him, but go low and take his legs out and secure the tackle on the outside.
Alan Bridgeford with yet another completion here tonight. That's completion number 12. And in fact, the Golden Eagles, Eric, outgained the Huskers 132-81 in that first quarter. But when the defense puts two touchdowns on the board, that's what matters most. 2nd down, 13. Here comes the blitz, Deontay Evans. And that's a well-thrown ball by Bridgeford. Actually can't throw it any better to Ricky Bradley. Ball's incomplete.
Yeah, sure did. Again, pressure in the face of Alan Bridgeford. You see off the outside, he just stands in there and takes it right on his hip. And I tell you what, as a quarterback that's taken this many shots this early in the game, he has got to be worn out by now. Only 3 minutes into the second quarter.
Pardon me, that was not Deontay Evans, it was Zaire Anderson putting the pressure on Bridgeford, and this is 3rd down and 13. Huskers rush forward, they set up the screen, and Anderson there once again. A play ago with the rush, and that time he had the screen pass sniffed out.
Yeah, they're looking to get on the outside and try to run speed for speed in the passing game with the Nebraska defensive backs. And right now, I don't think that's going to happen. They bring in Zaire Anderson, who can run and cover from the inside linebacker, from the will linebacker position.
Damon, what are you seeing down there?
Well, I tell you what, the infusion of Zaire Anderson has been a pretty big deal for Nebraska. He was one guy that they were adamant about getting snaps early in the game, and we've also seen Michael Rose. It's been a young trio of linebackers between Anderson, Gary, Rose, and Banderas to add to that quadruple, I guess I should say, not a triple, that have really stabilized Nebraska's nickel defense.
Well, Damon, here comes the Nebraska offense, and you look up at the scoreboard, guys, and if you're a Nebraska fan, you like it. It's 21-3, but now you'd like to see the offense get going. 2 of those touchdowns put up by the defense, and there was kind of a hovering feeling after last week, even though there were 37 points scored, 530 yards of total offense, that the offense wasn't as good as they wanted it to be.
Yeah, not a ton of ebb and flow. They've talked a lot about getting into a rhythm. Hard to establish who they want to be, but guys, tip your hat to Southern Miss. That front four has a lot to do with it, and giving that back seven, giving them a variety of looks.
Martinez, good decision to keep that one himself out near a first down, right at a 10-yard gain. And it looks like it's going to be just enough for a Husker first down.
Yeah, early on in this game, we saw some pressure, some blitzes from the outside, and I think that was why Nebraska completed those quick passing games. It took them out of the blitzes. Now Southern Miss is playing some more base defense, and that's why Nebraska is able to come in and try to run the football.
First down and 10 now from the 32. Inside give to Abdullah. And watching Taylor Martinez run the football, guys, I'd like to hear from Damon and Eric on this. He's more developed as a passer than he was 2 or 3 years ago. He's also an excellent runner. You've got great talent at tailback or at I-back. How much do you really want to see him run the ball?
Yeah, I don't think they really want to see him run the ball an awful lot, but when he does that in the open field, he does make a big play. He's not really the bruising type running back, or excuse me, quarterback that you have seen in the past. And I tell you what, it's amazing, but you know, if he were to get hurt, you know, they don't have a lot of experience at the backup position, so that could be one of the things they think about.
Paul, it's interesting, too, for a guy that racks up that many rushing yards. He's not what I would call a pure runner. He's a creaser. He's not a guy that picks and chooses, you know, front side or backside cuts. He's a guy that when he can see the crease, he can get in the crease. Not what I'd call a running quarterback.
We're going to see what kind of passer he is, at least on this one play. 3rd down and 8. Good pocket. He sees an open space. I like that right there. I think a couple years ago you would have kept it, but he was running while keeping his eyes open downfield. Gain of 10 and a Nebraska first down. That's a veteran play.
It is. It is a veteran play. He probably could have hung in that pocket for just another half a second to see what he had downfield, but you know, as a quarterback, when you feel it, you got to get out of there and make something happen. And here Taylor Martinez extends this play and decides not to run it, protect himself, and throw the ball to his receiver, Kenny Bell, on the outside.
Kenny Bell with the reception. New tailback or I-back in the game, Terrell Newby, the true freshman out of Los Angeles, with his first carry tonight. And he picks up 1. He showed his talent last week, guys. 15 carries, 76 yards. A lot of those carries coming in the 3rd and 4th quarters.
Right, a guy that's you know, built for this offense where you can use him in the passing game. He's a slasher. He's got a ton of speed on the outside. I'd expect him to get the ball in the outside perimeter type game here if they have him in the game.
Final 3 years of high school, he ran for over 5,800 yards and 97 touchdowns. Good to have him up against some equal competition, and he was open there, but Taylor Martinez didn't have time to see him. Goes underneath the Quincy Enunwa, and credit the Southern Miss pass rush for that play there.
Yeah, you gotta, I tell you what, the pass rush is really coming on for Southern Miss, getting on Taylor Martinez, similar to what Nebraska's defense is doing to Allen Bridgeford. And I'll tell you, they came up, and that's how you got to be. You know that you got a physical receiver in Quincy Enunwa, you better go up and be physical with him and try to match him up.
3rd down and 9 moments ago. Taylor Martinez converted to 3rd down and 8. Golden Eagle defense showing blitz here. We'll see how many they actually bring. And that's a 6-man rush in a nice pocket. And that's Taylor Martinez putting it right on Jordan Westerkamp. His 2nd catch of this drive. Good for 15.
Well, I think Taylor Martinez recognized the defense that he was going to get. Those linebackers were up in the pocket, trying to maybe show blitz or not. He had a safety in the middle of the field. Taylor Martinez knew he had man coverage in that slot route. If he can just get a little bit of separation like he did, it's an easy completion. He threw a nice, accurate pass on that time.
Westerkamp, the all-time leader in the state of Illinois for receptions, receiving yards, and also receiving touchdowns. Near Abdullah, trying to turn that corner. The speed to get outside, a little burst to pick up 6 yards. And here's Jordan Westerkamp, the freshman out of Lombard, Illinois.
Yeah, Westerkamp getting a little hold by the jersey. Probably could have had pass interference right there as well. But a good job of just going up, grabbing that ball, and making that first completion for yourself.
Not easy to get catches with this wide receiver core with Bell and Nunwa and also Turner. Taylor Martinez. Oh, my gosh. And those are the ones you see when you're laying awake at night.
That's right. And
Sethan Carter was wide open.
Yeah, definitely a bust on coverage on the Southern Miss defense. Usually got an outside backer running with the tight end, but Sethan Carter becomes wide open. And Taylor Martinez, all he needed to do, seeing how wide open he was, is just put a little bit of arc and fine touch on that football, and you got yourself a touchdown.
And I don't mean just the kind of play you see tonight. I mean, at age 42, kids go to bed. Sometimes I'm like,
that's the one you're dreaming about, huh?
How did I miss that? Thankfully for Taylor Martinez, all kinds of positive plays, running and throwing to lean on as well. 3rd down and 5 now from the 35-yard line. Huskers on the move and leading 21-3 over Southern Miss. Once again, Eric just hanging out with his Heisman Trophy.
Well, there's a lot of pictures here, isn't there?
Apparently, it's a big deal. Back right after this. Nebraska leading Southern Miss here. 8:33 left in the second quarter. 21-3. Eric Crouch's name on the stadium. I would say so. One of 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Johnny Rogers, Mike Rozier, and my partner here tonight. If I were to walk into your house, how early in that visit would I see that Heisman Trophy?
Well, you'd have to search a little bit for it, too. Wait, where'd you get this picture?
Didn't you take it?
I think you snuck in and took this picture of my house.
Nice boots.
This is top secret stuff here.
That was your Heisman inside?
It was in the box. Protected.
That's Amir Abdullah there. And let's see that one more time. So inside the boots behind the Lowe's box,
right,
the Heisman sits in there?
Yeah, see that is a steel protective case with a super alarm on it. You saw the little helmet in the background, a Millard North action from the high school days.
Abdullah around the left side. Nice gain there on 1st down. Does anybody ever come into the house and ask to see it and you have to go get it out of that thing?
It's actually happened before. I did go get it. My wife was like, you better go get that trophy out for these kids.
I would ask if I did it. 2nd down 4, classic I formation. Here's the toss to the right side. Abdullah cuts it back right at the 1st down marker. Gain of 4.
This is why I just love Amir Abdullah and what he does. He looked like he was tackled there for no gain. Then he's able to pick up a couple extra yards and pick up this 1st down. That is so unbelievable out of a running back. You just don't get that out of everybody. That extra lean, that forward emotion of surge of energy.
He and Taylor Martinez both topping 1,000 yards rushing last year, giving the Huskers a pair of 1,000-yard rushers back for the first time in school history. 1st down and 10 now from that 17-yard line. Martinez against that blitz, putting the fade up top. And a late penalty marker coming in. I thought that was a nice play by Ed Wilkins to knock it away from Anunwa, but maybe he got in there a little bit too early.
Well, you saw what they did with the tight ends and fullbacks. They brought him in, showed a max protection type look.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Guys, we saw that famed diamond formation by the trio that we've kind of affectionately dubbed 2 men in the truck, with both Newby, Abdullah, and Cross in the backfield, guys. They want to get these guys on the field as much as possible. The rotation as the season goes on will be pretty interesting to see how it works out.
It's a good problem to have. Amir Abdullah over 1,000 last year, and then some stars coming on, and Amani Cross, and also the true freshman Terrell Newby. 1st down and goal from the 4. To the air goes Martinez. Doesn't see anything he likes, directing traffic, and just firing it out the back of the end zone.
Well, another good play, smart heads-up play by Taylor Martinez. And again, I think they're trying to single out Quincy Anunwa on the outside and get in single coverage and try to use his big frame just to go up and get the ball. And I'm almost surprised that Taylor Martinez looks to the other side, try to get the short fade route instead of going towards the side of Quincy Anunwa, who has a definite height advantage over the 5'10" Ed Wilkins.
And there's that diamond formation that Damon told us about a moment ago. 2nd and goal from the 3. Abdullah off the left side. 2nd effort gets in near that goal line and inside the 1-yard line, but not quite. Yes, he is. Late signal. Touchdown, Abdullah. Abdullah with his first rushing touchdown of the season. Did go over 100 yards last week against Wyoming, but didn't get it into the end zone. And there's his first rushing score.
And I think a very special player on this football team. You can tell by the 2nd effort here what he does, what he brings to the table. Amir Abdullah, lifter of the year last year. So you can tell his work ethic and what he wants to bring to this team. And when he gets close to that goal line, show no fear. Get over there, get the ball across the goal line, and score a touchdown.
The scoring plays are reviewed here as we going to take a number of looks to see where that ball was when his knee came down. And that's going to be awfully close.
Well, what replay is looking at here is indisputable video evidence. Something that they're going to have to see. And if they can't see it, the call on the field will probably stand.
Guys, I think he's definitely in on the touchdown, and something that else that I don't have to speculate whether I'm seeing or not, and it's a young man by the name of Mike Mouty, who is playing left guard for Nebraska, who in essence has gone to split time with Jake Cotton here at the left guard spot, and he has been a man among boys tonight. If Nebraska feels like being left-handed, I'd get behind big number 74.
And they did run across that behind the left side.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Damon was correct. Touchdown, Amir Abdullah. Huskers scoring in a number of ways tonight. The defense, and you can smile when you're the defensive coordinator and you have 2 pick sixes, as we saw John Papuchis and Bo Pelini. Stanley Jean-Baptiste did it first. Ciante Evans also with the pick 6. Quincy Enunwa, touchdown reception, and now we just saw Amir Abdullah with a touchdown from 3 yards out. 2 touchdowns for the defense and a pair for the offense. 1 thanks to the passing game, 1 from the running game. Huskers lead 28-3. $6,000 new seats here at Memorial Stadium. You see them there. Today's attendance, 90,466, the second largest in history. We told you about 327. That's 327 consecutive sellouts. How about the number 307? A nation-leading 307 academic All-Americans.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You know, you got a lot of new facilities on campus. Pinnacle Bank Arena's here. They redid the Devaney Center. Everything's new. I almost don't recognize anything anymore when I'm here. I get lost.
Way ahead of Notre Dame there in second place, and also MIT. In third place, 307 academic All-Americans. That's a nation best number. See you red here. Temperature in the 90s, even with the 5 o'clock kickoff, and nothing going to keep the Nebraska faithful outside of this stadium. Little pooch kick there by the Huskers. Right down there at the 33-yard line. That's a late flag. And I think they're going to get a 15-yard penalty there against Charles Jackson.
During the return, personal foul, kicking team, number 21. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's tough right there with they didn't get him with the targeting, but they called the personal foul. That's one of those, Eric, you've talked time and time again about when the plane of the head changes, that the target changes as well. That's unfortunate because he was not targeting high.
The ball carrier had ducked right at the last minute while he's trying to go down. They just had a clash of heads, which to me is really not a personal foul. That's really just something that's going to happen as 2 guys are going down, both leaning forward.
Southern Miss quarterback Alan Bridgeford needs to get something going here now, trailing 28-3. Nebraska defense is not on that play. Zaire Anderson from his linebacker spot. Keep that to no gain. You heard me mention it was hot here, and that doesn't lie. Over 110 on the field. Football weather, right?
Football. I kind of like how the clouds came in. You know, as a player, you always like when the clouds come down and the sun's not in your face. And the stadium is shaded now. It makes it a little bit more comfortable.
Second down 11. Bridgeford swings it outside. That's Ricky Bradley. 7 catches last week. That catch right there goes for 6 yards.
I'll tell you what, Ricky Bradley was shaken up earlier in the game and looks to be fine on that run. Takes that quick little hitch route and then gallops outside for a 5-yard gain.
You see Nebraska with some 3-man fronts, also with some 4-man fronts. True to what Bo Pelini said yesterday, he said, we are trying to be multiple for the conference season. I would imagine also for UCLA next week. So they're not keeping it simple based off of giving up over 600 yards last week They want their players to be able to play a number of different looks, and we're seeing that tonight. 3rd down and 4. Huskers bring 4. Bridgeford off his back foot. Looks like it'll be just enough for Golden Eagle first down. Anderson with a tackle, but on 3rd down and 4, they pick up 5. Tyreone Holmes with a reception.
That was a nice play right there by Bridgeford, just coming back to the inside and finding Tyreone Holmes, the receiver, and just putting it just in front of him. As one of the hardest things to do as a quarterback when that receiver is coming straight across is to judge how much you're supposed to put it in front. So very good on the accuracy there by Bridgeford.
1st down and 10 now from the 42. Husker run defense up to the task there. Zaire Anderson having an active first half. 44 is Randy Gregory. Thought it was interesting yesterday when we asked Bo Pelini, who's your best pass rusher on that front 7? He said number 44 Gregory has Sunday kind of talent for us.
Well, you talk about pass rusher right here on a run play, and again, if you're a good pass rusher, you're able to get the blockers, you're able to get that offensive lineman's hands off you, and that's exactly what Gregory did there, make himself available on the tackle.
Once again, Southern Miss inside Nebraska territory. Nice pocket, good throwing lane there for Bridgeford. Mo Cisse eventually with the tackle, but that's a 1st down Southern Miss and a gain of 12.
And you see Jamarcus Reeves just get out here, and a little bit of physical play there at the offensive lineman position with Rashad Hill, but not able to get to the quarterback. And then you see Bridgeford with the accuracy on the throw and be able to keep this drive going.
Bridgeford, for the most part, a good evening throwing the football. He does have the 2 interceptions, though, that both went for touchdowns. Stanley Jean-Baptiste and Deontay Evans both with pick 6s. Bridgeford to the end zone, throwing into coverage. Fastball's incomplete, a late penalty marker. And there's Stanley Jean-Baptiste.
I almost wonder if this might be offensive pass interference.
I was going to say, I could see either one there, offensive or defensive pass interference.
Pass interference. Offense, number 81. 15-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
That's Ricky Bradley called for the Golden Eagles.
Stanley Jean-Baptiste just getting inside of him, knowing that he's trying to run that corner route, and then just gets his hand pulled at the end, get his body on him, and that's what they're going to call that flag.
Number 16, Alan Bridgeford, probably the best story on this Southern Miss offense. 4 seasons as a quarterback at Cal, started 3 games, graduated, transferred here to Southern Miss, showed up a week before camp started, and eventually won the starting job. Nebraska defense, Stanley Jean-Baptiste has a touchdown tonight. Big tackle there for a loss of 4.
Well, Stanley Jean-Baptiste is one of Nebraska's better secondaries, if not their best secondary player. And I'll tell you what, they're really trying to attack him, but he's came up big with a pass breakup. Probably would have had an interception, maybe a second of the game, and then back for a solo tackle.
Wide receiver at Miami Central High School, now quality defensive back as a senior here for the Husker D. 2nd down, 28 underneath. Josh Banderas was there to make the tackle. However, Rivas could make the catch, and it'll be 3rd and 28. Think about all that Bridgeford has been through. You played quarterback, I played quarterback. To spend 4 years inside one program, think you're going to get a shot. They change coaching staffs. They say you're not going to be the guy. You end up in Hattiesburg, Mississippi from Berkeley, California.
That's right, running a completely different offense, trying to pick it up in really one offseason. So you got to credit what he did. I mean, last week he had 28 completions out of 53 throws for almost 400 yards.
3rd down and 28, tough spot here. Puts it in a good spot. Nice throw by Alan Bridgeford. Finding Tyreone Holmes, the freshman, for 18. That'll leave him 10 yards short.
And one of the things I've been watching film of Alan Bridgeford, and when he has the opportunity to step up in the pocket, he makes a great, accurate throw. That's exactly what he did right there. There's some tendencies where he has an opportunity to step in the pocket, but he backs up. But here, he steps up in the pocket, those 3 little steps into that pocket, buys himself some time, and delivers the throw in stride to Tyreone Holmes.
Corey Acosta from 45 yards out. Nice draw on that one, bringing it in. He has 2 field goals today, and the Nebraska lead cut to 28-6. Some good quarterbacks coming from these 2 schools. You're familiar with the Southern Miss history. You know that Brett Favre was a Golden Eagle. You know all about Nebraska, the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Their only Heisman Trophy winning quarterback is Eric Crouch, so we lined them up together, and here's what you see.
Wow, you're comparing me to Brett Favre right here. I never thought this would ever happen.
The numbers say you were a better college quarterback.
Well, I think I was a different college quarterback. Let's put it that way. I was a different college quarterback. We all know about Brett Favre and what he's done in his football career, but I look at those career touchdowns. I do have him beat a little bit there.
Yes, you do. You counted for 90 touchdowns, and it just so happens we're picking out some big plays against the Iowa team. Yes, I was well past my playing time there. Not that it would have mattered a whole lot.
I'm a little surprised I didn't put my shoulder pad. I let it hang out of the jersey. That kind of bothers me.
It just makes you look like a football player. Like the tight spiral and the good placement there.
Really, I didn't have many opportunities to throw the football, so when I did, I had to make it look good.
Had to make the most of them. Right beneath Will Shields. Not a bad place to be. One of the outstanding offensive linemen and part of the history up front here at Nebraska. And Eric Crouch, one of 3 Heisman Trophy winners, following Johnny Rodgers and Mike Rozier. These Huskers leading 28-6. And Nebraska will begin from the 25-yard line. Well, a moment ago on the left side, you saw Brett Favre. Not much difference here in the quarterback on the left there, Eric. What do you think?
Well, I love the 3 rushing touchdowns. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I had to think back to those. I think that 2 quarterback sneaks and an accident.
I'm surprised that you actually remember. I didn't really think I was going to get an answer.
I had to think. I had to think back. The good old days there. Eric, you had Brett Favre beat there.
Yards. It's funny to look at him because, you know, Taylor Martinez and what he's done, he's just going to destroy all the yards and records here at Nebraska. And
yes.
It's just a tribute to his ability, his speed, his quickness, the offense that Tim Beck has instilled here at Nebraska.
Darrell Newby, the true freshman tailback. We see the speed the coaches tell us about right there. A late penalty marker comes in, but that's a gain of 10. For Darrell Newby.
Holding, offense, number 80. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And this is going to be a good problem for Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator for Nebraska, and Taylor Martinez. He's an excellent runner, as strong a runner at quarterback as you'll see in the Big Ten. We'll take a look here at the holding call. But you have 3 talented tailbacks.
Right. Good stuff. I mean, when you can get Darrell Newby in the game early, give him some reps, make him feel comfortable. I mean, they know that, you know, this is a Nebraska an offense that runs the ball. You're going to need to go 3-4 deep at the running back position.
The fake to Abdullah. Here goes Martinez on the run, and for the most part today, that Southern Miss defense has done a good job of containing Taylor Martinez as he's looked to leave the pocket a couple of times, but hasn't had a whole lot of success.
Well, it's really not the shifty quarterback that we talked about earlier, and you know, I don't know, Damon, if you've seen anything right now in this game that you're seeing out of the quarterback Martinez when he gets out of the pocket.
Yeah, Doug, and it looks like right now in Southern Miss's defensive coordinator, he looks kind of like a fortune teller. He said, listen, we're going to put 1 guy on the dive and 2 on the quarterback out of Nebraska's 1-back sets until they prove that the tailback can beat him. His plan was to take Taylor Martinez away from the Skurs.
They've kept him limited, certainly, so far, Damon. Can't find anybody downfield. Has some room around the left side, and here goes Taylor Martinez.
There he goes.
That's the Nebraska first down. Martinez weaving his way throughout that Golden Eagle defense. He picks up 19 and a Nebraska first down.
He is a creaser. I think that Damon made a good point earlier about Taylor Martinez and the way that he runs the football, but extending this play and finding the open field and getting up using his speed. Actually, I mean, I don't see him put on too many moves, but there's a little head bob right there. He picked up another 5 yards after the bob.
First down and 10 from the 40, trying to go back to the air. Coming underneath, finds Quincy Enunwa. Look at the strong running there for another Husker first down.
Guys, that's what I'm talking about with Taylor Martinez, where, you know, you see some tailbacks or running quarterbacks that look like, all right, I'm looking backside, I'm looking front side. He's a guy that when he sees the crease, he is the crease, different than being a running quarterback.
And just a little bit underthrown. Enunwa had found a spot there in that zone. But stepping up to make the play, Kalen Reed, defensive back for the Golden Eagles.
That's right. Kalen Reed doing a tremendous job of just looking back at Taylor and keeping his back to Quincy Enunwa, knowing that he had help over the top. The only thing underneath he could pick up, but then using his ability to jump and put a hand up on that ball and stop Nebraska from completing the pass.
Brings up second down and 10, 1:25 left until halftime. Martinez, no interceptions tonight. He had the one last week against Wyoming. His one touchdown is to Quincy Enunwa. And there's Jamal Turner with his first catch, showing you some of those moves that allowed him to pick up over 10,000 yards of total offense as a high school quarterback. He gets 10 yards there.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to do. You come across the middle, and I really appreciate the toughness and being courageous coming across the middle, because that is not easy. You got big backers, especially from Southern Miss back there, that can knock your head off. Jamal Turner looking that ball in, catching it, and picking up a first down.
Inside a minute, third down and 1. Abdullah with a first down and then some. Getting ready to put on a move there, kind of lost his footing, but plenty of yards for a first down. Gets 7 on third and less than a yard. Nebraska 2 timeouts left. Clock continues to tick now. 1st and 10 from the 31. Golden Eagles bring 4. Plenty of time for Martinez directing traffic. Finally getting rid of the football. Quincy Enunwa. Gain of 9 yards.
Can't say more about the protection right there for Taylor Martinez in this offensive line. Senior offensive line really protecting well right here down the stretch in the second quarter.
Timeout Nebraska. There we see Quincy Enunwa, popular target today for Taylor Martinez. As we are getting close to the halftime break, 29 seconds left with Nebraska on top, 28-6. Coming up at halftime, the Buffalo Wild Wings report. Some issues at quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan State quarterback, they continue to have concerns there, and we'll update you on all the Big Ten action on your football Saturday here, the second one of the 2013 college football season. Pelini has 2 senior captains on offense. He has Taylor Martinez, and then he has number 18, Quincy Enunwa, who has 4 catches tonight, including 1 for a touchdown. Eric, anytime I see a wide receiver who's been elected captain, it's about much more than just catching footballs. He's got to be a tough-minded individual who earns the respect of his teammates from blocking and also practicing hard, and that's clearly what number 18 has done.
Yeah, he practices extremely hard, and they know that what they're going to get out of practice, they're going to get it in the game, and that's why they look to him a lot for the big play.
Martinez looking for Enunwa there, overshoots him. 23 seconds left, now 2nd and 10.
We come off the mindset of Tim Beck and not being really happy. I guess the team offensively not being happy with their performance last week against Wyoming. And right now trying to take shots at the end zone and clean up some of these things and still find this rhythm only with 23 seconds left in the second quarter.
28-6, Huskers on top. Martinez across the middle, and he just flat out missed Jamal Turner. Pass intended for Jamal Turner. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Bo Pelini has some experience in the passing game, coaching, and yes, he coached linebackers, defensive backs, National Football League for the Niners, Patriots, and Packers. Defensive coordinator at Oklahoma and LSU. Back in 1991, he was the graduate assistant for the Iowa Hawkeyes quarterbacks and receivers. So it's just a little bit, but he's been on this side of the football 22 years ago.
I see him watching intently as the offense is out there trying to score a touchdown right now.
Kenny Bell catches it the second time. Touchdown, Huskers. Nebraska's leading receiver the last 2 seasons, coming up with his first touchdown of this season.
And Kenny Bell, I tell you what, he's an athlete. Credit Taylor Martinez for throwing the ball in there, and pretty good coverage right there by Ed Wilkins, but good focus by Kenny Bell coming up with that tip pass. Those things are a challenge when they're wiggling around in the air in all sorts of different ways.
Kenny Bell had 8 touchdowns last year, and that's just barely in. And the fastest receiver on this team, according to Bo Pelini, now has a touchdown to make it 35-6 with 12 seconds left. And sometimes as a quarterback, Eric, you know this very well. You just got to fit it in there. A receiver isn't necessarily that open, You just got to give him a chance.
That's right. Well, he definitely gave him a chance there. And I tell you what, after looking at this replay, it could have been a scary throw because great coverage by Ed Wilkins, just getting inside a body position on Kenny Bell. If he could have batted that ball downward instead of just letting it float over the top of him, it would have been a nice play. But again, we talked about the focus Kenny Bell did and actually pulling that ball in.
You look at that trio of receivers, Eric, from left to right. Jamal Turner, the slot guy. Quincy Enunwa on the outside, also Kenny Bell. There's a lot of ways that each season you can praise a Nebraska offense. It's not very often you could say they might have the best wide receiving core in the Big Ten Conference. You can make that argument this year.
Well, and I think they do. And one of the things that's so hard for a defense to do is with that many guys, with 3 guys, and you spread them out on the field, I mean, who do you really focus on? You can't. I mean, that's the problem. There's going to be a mismatch somewhere defensively, and if they want to center out someone and go 2 against 1, then you leave an opening for someone else, maybe even in the running game.
They can get Jake Long going at the tight end and a threat in the passing game. That would give them 4. And we'll see how Abdullah and also Cross and Newby catch the ball out of the backfield. But that trio right there, Turner, Enunwa, and also Bell, pretty strong. It's got to be pretty warm with that hair when it's 95 degrees, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what he's doing there. If that's on purpose or if he's got quite a bit. He's got quite a bit. I think I'm going to try to go for that look. What do you think?
I think it might be hard for you to accomplish. And I was actually noticing in the Heisman Trophy speech that your hair hasn't changed that much.
It hasn't, you know. It hasn't changed a whole lot. But, you know, it's never going to be that long, that wispy. Kind of like it. It's a Kenny Bell trademark.
You feel free to go gray like me at any point.
Well, trust me, it's coming.
You're still in your early to mid-30s, correct?
Yeah, you're right. 34, and I know it's down the road, but it's not too far out.
Saw Taylor Martinez there. He's got 3 on his jersey, but he has 2 touchdown tosses tonight. One to Kenny Bell moments ago. And also one in the first quarter to Quincy Enunwa, his fellow captain there on this Husker offense. Amir Abdullah has a touchdown run, and the defense putting 2 touchdowns on the board for Bo Pelini. Stanley Jean-Baptiste with a pick 6 to get it going, and also Ciante Evans repeating that feat. He has a pick 6. Both of those came in the first quarter. It is halftime here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, after a 3-point win over Wyoming last week, lead Southern Miss at halftime 35-6. And before the third quarter begins, with Nebraska on top of Southern Miss 35-6. Time now for tonight's Quicken Loans quarterback comparison between Alan Bridgeford, senior for Southern Miss, and senior quarterback for Nebraska, Taylor Martinez. The number we don't see, Eric, is a 2, as in 2 interceptions for Alan Bridgeford, both turning into interception returns for Nebraska.
Right. You look at the stats here, and it's about a 28-point swing. If you count those 2 touchdowns versus the 2 touchdown passes from Taylor Martinez, you got 28-point difference.
Bridgeford also had 2 interceptions late last week in the season opening loss to Texas State. And Taylor Martinez has not thrown a pick tonight. Done a nice job managing the game, not making poor decisions. Also has those 2 touchdown tosses, 1 to Enunwa and 1 to Kenny Bell. Kenny Bell lets that one go out of the end zone. And leading 35-6, Taylor Martinez going to come out here and begin from the 25-yard line. Holds 37 school records. Most important ones, total offense, passing yards, completions, and also passing touchdowns. Now has 51 total passing touchdowns in his career.
And right now, I'm a little bit curious to see what Tim Beck's going to do as an offensive coordinator. Is he going to go striking through the air? Is he going to be a little bit more conservative in the running game? And again, based on last week against Wyoming, I think they still want to get this offense running in game mode type situations.
Amir Abdullah was the leading rusher for Nebraska in the first half. He had 12 carries for 55 yards, and he is the tailback in the backfield with Martinez to start this second half. Keeps it around the left side, reverses, and nowhere to go. Excellent job by that Southern Miss defense. That's Kalen Reed, defensive back there, to make the tackle.
Well, Kalen Reed coming all the way up from the cornerback position, making a tackle. You can see it's a physical thing to do, to come out and pop a guy in the running game, especially Amir Abdullah, who's a physical runner. And those are the things that you have to do to start this second half off, is play physical, not let Nebraska really get more of a lead than they've got right now.
Empty backfield. 3 wide receivers to Taylor's right and a pair to his left. On 2nd down 12. Abdullah now joins him in the backfield. Little roll to his right. Quincy Enunwa covered, and down goes Martinez. 2 plays, and the Husker offense moving in the wrong direction.
Again, Taylor Martinez just getting outside the pocket. Really a designed roll play. You see the line kind of rolling out to the right, and Martinez just jogging down the sideline trying to pick up the outside play. But great coverage in the secondary by Southern Mississippi.
It was never easy coming out of the halftime locker room on a hot day when you are in command to pick it up with that same intensity that allowed you to pick up that big lead in the first half. Abdullah out of the backfield on 3rd down and long. Nifty piece of running to get across the 30-yard line, gain of 7. And the punt team going to come out for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah, I know they're not very excited about what just happened right there. 3 and out coming out of the locker room, and this is supposed to be their opportunity to really put this game away more than it is right now. And I can tell you that there could be, I got a feeling they're probably going to take another shot next time they get the ball, maybe downfield. I know rolling out like they did, but good coverage by Southern Miss. Guys staying home and playing physical in this very first drive of the second half.
Huskers coming out, throwing it a couple times there, up 35-6. Sam Folks lift a high one. And Southern Miss will begin on its own 33-yard line. Next weekend, it is another full slate of action as the Michigan Wolverines and Minnesota Gophers both play at noon, and the Spartans take on Youngstown State at 2 o'clock on the BTN alternate channel. Penn State hosting Central Florida, or you will see Washington and Illinois from Soldier Field. We'll close it out with Western Michigan and Northwestern next weekend on BTN and BTN to go. Go to btn.com/gamefinder to find the game available in your region. Southern Miss offense been all Alan Bridgeford in the passing game in the first half. As they get started on the run game, and Randy Gregory is there, Josh Mitchell is there. That first run play going nowhere. Running went nowhere for Southern Miss in that first half. Last week they were 24 carries for 23 total yards. In the first half against Nebraska, 9 carries, only 8 total yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're playing with a lot more speed and intensity from the secondary position. You see Josh Mitchell coming up there and getting involved in the run game, and he's 10 yards back from the line of scrimmage.
Huskers bring 4. Bridgeford off his back foot, throws a strike. And that's a first down, Southern Miss, gain of 13 yards.
And that's a total credit to the arm strength of Alan Bridgeford to stand in there with guys tied around his waist and his feet to be able to complete that pass.
Marquise Triplett with the first down reception. And a second consecutive first down pass, or a pass that goes for a first down. Tyreon Holmes picks up 12.
Well, yeah, I think this is just an easy read. And look at, they're trying to pick up the tempo and the pace right now of this offense. Picking it apart with the little passes and the screen passes to the outside.
2 completions later, Southern Miss now inside Nebraska territory. Once again, Huskers bring 4. Plenty of time for Bridgeford. And this is going to be a touchdown, Southern Miss. Ricky Bradley. First touchdown of the day for Alan Bridgeford and the Golden Eagles.
Well, that's just extreme patience right there by Alan Bridgeford to set this throw up. And you'll see right here his patience in the pocket. He sits, he waits, and then throws that ball right down the middle of the field. Stanley Jean-Baptiste just got beat with a little head nod on the outside. Freed him up for a few extra yards in the pass.
Alan Bridgeford, first of all, getting excellent protection from the offensive line and showing nice patience and good touch. Ricky Bradley, the first touchdown of the day for Southern Miss. Alan Richford, Southern Miss quarterback, taking a break, getting a drink, talking to the coaches upstairs after firing a 41-yard touchdown pass to Ricky Bradley to make it 35-13 Nebraska. Here comes Kenny Bell. Had a receiving touchdown in the first half. Now turns on the Jets. Kenny Bell down the sidelines. One man to beat. Shoved out of bounds inside the Southern Miss 40-yard line.
And that's exactly what Kenny Bell brings to the table, is that blazing speed. You give him a crease, he's going to take it. And what a nice play coming off of a tough series of 3 and out last time they had the ball.
Kenny Bell, a little patience, and now I get to show that speed. 63 yards down the right side. And that's how you respond to a Southern Miss touchdown. Their first touchdown of the evening. Kenny Bell going to get a rest, but he put his offense in excellent shape here. Taylor Martinez, first down and 10 from the Golden Eagle 37-yard line. Amir Abdullah, the tailback behind Martinez. Off the right side, found a way to burst through. Amir Abdullah, no flags, touchdown Huskers. You certainly don't want to give up a touchdown pass, but if you're looking for the proper response, 63-yard kickoff return by Kenny Bell, followed up by a touchdown sprint from Amir Abdullah.
Take a peek here at the offensive line, just finding their blocks. A couple extra linemen kind of looking for other blocks, and just hitting the point of contact and creating a hole for Amir Abdullah. And when he's got a crease, he's got the speed to make it happen.
Pat Smith up and in. Amir Abdullah has 2 touchdowns tonight, both coming on the ground, and Nebraska has a 42-13 lead. With some music there, what we've seen so far, Nebraska, a lot of reason to smile for everyone inside here, supporting the Big Red, 42-13. Huskers on top of the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs, both coming from Amir Abdullah, and the defense scoring a couple of touchdowns too to make it 42-13.
Nebraska's got to be extremely happy from a Coach Pelini head coach perspective on what he's been seeing out of the defense and what he's seen out of his offense thus far.
Golden Eagles will begin from the 25. BTN To Go brings you access to tonight's Minnesota versus New Mexico State game. Watch the game live. BTN To Go now available for free to all major subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. Tonight, 8 Eastern, only on BTN To Go. I know our former Husker I-back, Damon Benning, has an appreciation for what we just saw from Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, really hard to get an appreciation for how good that run was. You talk about seeing the crease and being the crease. It looked to be contained. I could see where Southern Miss maybe exhaled. They blinked. It's 6 points. That's Amir being Amir, cutting in small spaces.
He has 14 carries for 90 yards, and the Nebraska defense has an excellent way to start this series. The veteran end, Jason Ankra. The first one there, that's a loss of 5.
And Jason Ankra really makes this play by getting to the outside and making him turn this run back inside. Right there with Randy Gregory and Vincent Valentine, where all his help is coming from. So a great heads-up play, great smart play by Randy Gregory.
So bring down
Jason Ankra.
There you go, number 9, bringing down number 1 for Southern Miss, Tyreone Holmes, the freshman wide receiver. It's 2nd down, 15. Richford had Randy Gregory breathing down his neck, and Ciante Evans has 2 interceptions tonight.
You can definitely tell the effect that Randy Gregory has had in the pass rush game today.
Guys, I got to tell you, Deontay Evans played this so well. He flashed in front of the motion and basically turned into a flat defender. He tried to look him off with his eyes. He didn't get baited. He sat. And Katie barred the door on that one. That's just a great player making a great play. That's what playmakers do, guys.
Bo Pelini yesterday, Damon told us that number 44 was his best pass rusher. Deontay Evans, his most veteran corner. He has 3 interceptions this season already.
And he did that one with his brains.
Taylor Martinez has another touchdown toss. That one to Sam Birch, 26 yards out.
Really nice read by Taylor Martinez, knowing that that safety was just sitting in the middle of the field, and Sam Birch working his movement outside, getting on top of his man. And Martinez just throwing it down the hash for a nice completion. He set his feet, good blocking up front. Sam Birch just beating Ed Wilkins to the outside and being able to cradle that ball and score a touchdown. Might be his first touchdown of his career.
Taylor Martinez has his season off to an excellent start, performing just the way you would hope a quarterback would with 41 career starts. He has 6 touchdown tosses in 2 games to go along with only 1 pick. The most recent laid in there perfectly to Sam Birch. Take another look here at the impact players you highlighted at the top of the broadcast, Eric.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen what Quincy Anunwa's done today. 4 receptions, 47 yards, a touchdown. They went to him a couple other times. Deontay Evans, the 1 touchdown reception and the 1 interception here, being very smart.
Taylor Martinez doing a really nice job, Eric, of spreading that football around. His numbers tell you he's 15 out of 23, 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's very good. You look inside those numbers, spreading it around really well. 7 different Huskers have caught passes already.
Right, that's just smart plays by Taylor Martinez and doing the right things and making the right reads and feeling comfortable in the pocket. Line protection, running backs protecting great.
Justin Sims from a yard deep. Brought down by Harvey Jackson. Safety for Nebraska after a gain or a return of 19. Start to wonder now if we're going to see more of Taylor Martinez with his team on top by 36 points. 10:26 left in the third. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity right now maybe to get some backups in the game. I think you pull them. I think they're up enough. I mean, it's still a whole quarter to go, but you know, if I'm the quarterback, I'm kind of arguing, hey, at least let me play until the beginning of the 4th quarter.
Right.
But that's always a coaching decision, and maybe there's some more things that Tim Beck and the offense wants to see. Maybe there's some more looks that they're wanting to feel more comfortable with in the running game and the read option game and the quick passing game.
Husker defense strong against the run. True freshman linebacker Gary is there, number 25. Another true freshman, his roommate Josh Banderas, in on the tackle a little bit earlier than Gary was, and that's a gain of 2.
They talk about these young guys just able to produce for this defense and on the fly, learning, seeing different looks in the game, and really this is where they're getting those reps, and this is where they're going to really grow and understand the concepts of this defense.
Starting defense still in for Nebraska. Bridgeford under pressure off his back foot. Bounces that one to his tailback, Bracken.
Guys, I think where Nebraska has really excelled this week in nickel compared to last is the guys on the second level, the linebackers, are doing an outstanding job with their run reads first. They aren't as pass conscious and quick to bail out of there. Doing a very good job of recognizing what Southern Miss wants to do in the run game. Makes all the difference in the world.
Which would be really hard to do, Damon, knowing that they're going to come out and throw the football on you 50, 60 times.
3rd down and 7, pass situation. Nebraska's showing blitz, and here they come. Penalty marker thrown. Bridgeford. Not an open receiver. That's Tyree Young. That's his tailback, Tyree Bracken. Overshot him.
Holding offense number 63. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And that'll bring up 4th down and 7. Todd Monken, first-year head coach, not only for Southern Miss, but his first time as a head coach. For spending time as an offensive coordinator the last 2 seasons at Oklahoma State. And prior to that, 4 years coaching the wide receivers for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
really the first time there we've seen Corey Cooper at the safety position go a really long ways and actually get to the quarterback and hit him.
Jamal Turner back deep, and he's just going to let that one roll. Credit the Southern Miss special teams. Nebraska going to start out now deep in their own territory. And it looks like we're going to see Taylor Martinez keep that headset on here, Eric. And the question all week, who is the backup quarterback?
Well, I think right now, Ron Kellogg's listed as the #2 quarterback coming in. He's got the most, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience, neither does Tommy Armstrong. So looks like they got Ron Kellogg in the game and going to get him some snaps and rest Taylor. I know that he got a little bruised shoulder in that game last week, so maybe taking him out right now is a good idea.
Last year, Kellogg was the top backup to Martinez. Amir Abdullah still in the game. Just a little bit ago, we saw that same kind of burst end up in the Southern Miss end zone. And he is now approaching 100 yards. And there's a good look at Ron Kellogg III, the senior. Did not play his first 3 years on campus. The top backup last year. Limited action. And now in to run the show as Taylor Martinez goes to the bench. Martinez 15 out of 23, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions on his evening. Touchdown to interception ratio impressive so far this season for Taylor, 6-1.
Wow, it's pretty impressive, and the explosiveness that he brings to the team, and taking a break here on the sideline and just enjoying watching the game. And that's what happens. You put all the work in during the week, prepare for the game, be smart. You're able to enjoy the second half from the sideline and grab yourself a hot dog.
Always felt good to watch it from the sideline after you played well and the team was up. See Taylor there going to enjoy just that. He likes looking at the scoreboard right now, seeing it's 49-13. His Huskers on top. And the injured Southern Miss Golden Eagle, Tarek Wright. Good to see him up and walking off the field.
Guys, let's not get confused. We watched them salt away a lead with 8 to play in the fourth quarter a week ago. They won't relax. Don't be fooled by the fact that Kellogg's getting snaps. They'll keep this thing churning and try to keep it at a high level.
Amir Abdullah now with 16 carries for 110 yards, his 8th 100-yard rushing game of his career, and he's 2 for 2 in that category here this season. Terrell Newby, the true freshman tailback, is now in. Kellogg to the air, finds Newby, and excellent tackle. Newby did a nice job of keeping his feet. He appeared to be down as Jalen Richard made the hit. That's a loss of 4.
Well, that's pretty good balance by Newby, but Kellogg makes that quick pass, sees the rush coming from the outside, and didn't get his knee on the ground. So you got to keep that power moving, keep those legs going.
3rd down and 10. Ron Kellogg, the backup quarterback, in for Taylor Martinez. After Martinez enjoyed a fine night, Kellogg, I believe he would have had a first down easily if it wasn't for a little bump there with a member of the officiating crew. Picks up 10, and that's going to be a matter of the spot because he is right at the sticks.
See Kellogg looking downfield for the throw, and then quickly comes off it, knowing that he only had 5 yards to get a first down, and really close to the sticks.
Kellogg last year also played against Southern Miss. Played in 4 games and finished the year with 22 passing yards, going 4 out of 9. As I mentioned, didn't play his first 3 years on campus, so this is a 5th-year senior quarterback backing up Martinez. Extremely limited action in his 4 seasons. Invaluable time for him.
I'll tell you what, that's a heads-up play by Kellogg. Not throwing it late down the field. If you're not seeing it, then don't throw it.
Hard to imagine they would go for it here, right?
I don't know. They feel pretty confident. They got Amani Cross there in the background. He's got a big body, got a big frame.
And it looks like they're going.
Southern Miss stacked on the line.
Quiet night so far for Cross, only 1 carry. Kellogg looking over the sideline, getting the play call. Plenty of time in the play clock. Now at 12. And there's Amani Cross. A little extra effort in a late surge, and he's going to have just enough for that Husker first down.
Well, it is an interesting call. You know, you got a foot and a half, 2 feet to go. You put your quarterback in shotgun. That tells you the comfort level of being back there in the gun.
And he's going to the air. Comes underneath and finds his tight end, Sept Carter. Gain of 12.
Another nice job by Kellogg here, just knowing where the holes are in the defense. And Sept Carter just planting his foot, turning around, and Kellogg putting a nice throw on his shoulder.
You're a backup quarterback, and I spent more time in that role than you did, Eric, so I can speak to this a little better. It's a bonus two ways. Number one, anytime you get in, it's great. But when you get in and they allow you to throw the football like he is right here, 2 consecutive completions for Ron Kellogg, it's not only getting used to what it's like to call a play and get up there and run the offense, but when you get to make decisions against a live defense, it's something you just can't do in practice. That's a gain of 6.
No, you really can't, but this brings a lot of value. What's happening right now with Nebraska, getting a backup quarterback in the game and getting some snaps, is that it will be a long season in the Big Ten. And there could be times where Taylor Martinez gets hurt unexpectedly and has to come out of the game. And when you feel confident as a backup quarterback, you can come in and deliver those throws and call the right plays and make the right checks. This is exactly what you need on your team. 2 guys that can go out there and drive the football down the field and score and help your team to victory.
I think it's safe to say Taylor Martinez likes playing against Southern Miss. You go back to what he did last year against the Golden Eagles, and in 2 seasons, 41 out of 57, 8 touchdowns and 0 picks. Taylor going to watch the rest of this game from the sideline, watching his backup Ron Kellogg run the show now. A couple of consecutive completions there. And it's 1st and 10 from the 35. Looks comfortable in the pockets and throws into coverage. Intended receiver Jordan Westerkamp. I saw 1 Husker and 3 Golden Eagles there.
Well, I'll tell you what, he had some pressure up the middle. I don't know if that was Spencer Long on the block or not, but he had a little pressure in his face and had to just step to the side, and I think that really what threw his attention off his receivers.
See what Taylor did last year against Southern Miss, a season high in completions, also with the 5 touchdowns, and you add 3 touchdowns tonight and 0 picks in the 57 attempts against Southern Miss the last 2 seasons. Another good decision, and that's Quincy Enunwa for a gain of 10.
Guys, if you're a Nebraska fan, you've got to be encouraged. Last time we saw Ron Kellogg get snapped, it was against Minnesota at home, and everybody was thinking, oh my goodness, we don't look as prepared. This is a nice, crisp drive, and the tempo hasn't changed. It is business as usual for the Scarlet and Cream.
And as a 5th-year senior, Damon, too, you also expect to you come in with some confidence and maybe a little chip on your shoulder as well, that this is finally your time to get out here and prove it. And you know he feels like he can do it. Terrell Newby puts it on the ground. And the true freshman coughs it up. Southern Miss bounces on it.
Guys, we like to call that the proverbial kiss of death in our business.
I tell you what, probably the first time the ball's been on the ground today, and Terrell Newby, going into contact, has to do a better job of putting both arms on the football. But anytime you jump in the air, you know that the tendency for the ball is just your arm kind of loosens up as you try to overstride and try to gain more yards. But when you're gathered around a ton of defenders, you need to get down, get a low pad level, and hold on and protect that football.
Part of the learning process for the true freshman, Terrell Newby. Bridgeford out of the backfield to Brackett. Run out of bounds after a gain of 3. So look around out there, see some of the backups for that Nebraska defense. Leave the starters on the sidelines for the most parts. See Santos in at linebacker. Avery Moss in at end. Although you have some starters out there.
Comes in at defensive tackle. Another young guy they're trying to prepare to play in this defense and become a big part of it.
Penalty markers down.
Kind of weird seeing a defensive lineman with a number 7.
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
What I like about Todd Monken's resume, the head coach at Southern Miss, 2 years ago at Oklahoma State with a pair of first-rounders in Brandon Wheaton and Justin Blackman. Of course he's going to have big numbers. Came back with a lot of young players the next year without that first-round talent. They were still number 3 in the nation in scoring and top 10 in total offense.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to take them time. But you think about what happens right now with Southern Miss and their whole entire team.
Football's out. There's your number 7 there.
They've had to learn 3 different offenses in 3 years.
Exactly.
It's interesting, too, as you look at Nebraska's D-line yesterday and talking with Coach Blaney, the guy that he mentioned by name is somebody that's going to be developed into a very, very good pass rusher, Malik Collins, right there on the spot, showing good hands and playing with good leverage.
And it's 3rd down, 21. How many times have we seen Alan Bridgeford here in difficult 3rd down situations? Play action across the middle. Mo Cisse on the coverage. Bridgeford can't throw it a whole lot better than that. Incomplete, though, to bring up 4th down, 21.
Right, Mo Cisse just a step behind. Great throw by Bridgeford. Wasn't able to come down with the completion and keep this drive going, and kind of what a downer. You know, you go to the sideline and you look up at the scoreboard and you go 49-13. Hope is starting to whittle away.
And Eric, that's a good confidence booster as we were here last week for Santos and Cisse, back playing combination defense together again, getting a stop here.
And that's Jamal Turner back to receive from his own 34. Gets it back to his own 36. And 3:44 left. Husker offense coming back out for Bo Pelini. And when his starting quarterback was out there, Taylor Martinez, Eric, I saw a lot of good decisions, a lot of accuracy, and also 3 touchdowns.
Well, I think that's exactly right. It's about the decision-making. He's a senior now. He's a captain of this team. So just throwing the ball up for grabs is not going to work. And you see him sidestep, buy time, takes his eyes, he's looking downfield. You know, one thing he's got to do maybe is put that ball away a little bit, because one of the things in the past that's haunted Taylor Martinez is the turnovers, but a great day today. They're not making any poor decisions in the throwing game, putting the ball and the money on the outside, knowing where those safeties are in the deep throws.
No interceptions for Taylor Martinez, 15 out of 23. And he ran it 6 times. And another new quarterback in for Nebraska, Tommy Armstrong Jr. Working the option to the true freshman, Cyril Newby. Excellent job of keeping his feet. Option to Cyril Newby for 19 yards.
And Tommy Armstrong is more of that running, legitimate option-type quarterback. And you can see he comes in the very first play, and that's what they feel comfortable with. We're going to run option. And Terrell Newby using some good hand-eye coordination to pick up that low pitch and pick up a really nice gain getting into Southern Miss territory.
Redshirt freshman, and the fans got a pretty good look at the spring game at his kind of talents. Keeps it here. Just across the 40-yard line, picks up 4.
Tommy Armstrong here on that option. Maybe could have done a little bit of better job of eating up that pitch man, getting to the defensive end a little bit sooner. But hey, your first snap of your career, getting in the game. A lot of nerves right now for Tommy Armstrong, and he can get some help from his offensive line and running backs to kind of settle him down, and might get a whole quarter to play.
Got a lane there, and has another Husker first down. Damon, what do you know, or what should we know about this redshirt freshman Tommy Armstrong?
He's just a smooth operator. He's the type of guy that leads you to believe he's always got it under control. He's a great student. And right now, we're seeing him operate this option game. He can spin it as well. He puts the dual in dual threat, guys.
I like his passing numbers out of high school there at Steele High School in Texas, Damon. 29 touchdowns and only 2 picks his senior season. That is taking care of the football. And he's showing us right now, too, Aaron. You can appreciate this, that he runs it like a running back.
Yeah, he sure does. But I think we're showing an appreciation about what he means to the future of this program. Taylor Martinez is a senior quarterback. Ron Kellogg, the senior quarterback who had been in the game for a short amount of time. And they've got to build for the future here at the quarterback position. And I think they really have a lot of confidence in Tommy Armstrong.
Second down 2. Here's Terrell Newby, the patience. Now here's the speed. Terrell Newby around the right side inside the 10-yard line. And that's a gain of 13.
Guys, this is an outstanding thing of beauty. There's a ton of young bucks out here. Ethan Carter sealing the edge. The patience and able to put his foot in the ground from Terrell Newby. And guys, the guy that's leading the show, Tommy Armstrong, coming off the minor knee surgery, acting like he's been there, done that. A lot of promise for the future if you're a Nebraska fan.
Saw the helmet come off of number 31, Alexander Walters, for Southern Miss. He's going to have to leave for a play.
We talk about Tommy Armstrong.
Offense, number 34, 15-yard penalty. It is still a first down by yardage.
Well, you don't see that much. Terrell Newby just running hard, but gets the 15-yard penalty.
Well, I think what they're going to call here is maybe.
Well, he did stick the hand out and knock the helmet off.
Face, yeah. So, you know, I can understand that, but you know, in the heat of the game right now, he's got a lot of emotion, a lot of energy.
And Coach Pelini really up in arms at the fact he says, you guys are missing a really good game. As a matter of fact, you're ruining it. I got a young player out here trying to protect themselves on the sidelines, and you guys are ticky-tack call.
I see you, Damon, there about 2 yards away from the head coach.
Hey, and I can hear it loud and clear.
There's Newby up the middle down to the just inside the 15-yard line, picking up 5 yards. And you watch these tailbacks, number 34, the true freshman Terrell Newby. You know what Amir Abdullah is about. Over 100 yards again today. Amani Cross, just a workhorse power back. You can see why last week, out of 85 plays, they ran it 63 times.
Yeah, right. Truly, 2 men in the truck. Cross is the hammer. These two guys and Newby growing up right before your eyes.
Third quarterback we've seen tonight for Nebraska. This is Tommy Armstrong, the redshirt freshman. Caught it on pitching it, kept it himself. And the Southern Miss defense does a good job of playing that one to keep it to a gain of 2.
Well, he did attack the line a lot faster on that play, and you got to wonder, you know, having the confidence now after coming off that little minor surgery Damon spoke of earlier, is that this is that confidence booster. This is where you get in the game action, you get hit a few times, you forget about your knee, and you forget about that you had surgery. If you're feeling good, and it doesn't look like he's missed a hitch in a step at all, so he's feeling pretty good out there. This is a great opportunity for him to knock out the butterflies.
The thing that's encouraging from down here is you listen to these guys talk to one another.
Damon will get it right back to you when the fourth quarter begins on the other side of this break. Another strong quarter for the Huskers. We head to the fourth with Nebraska on top 49-13. Bob Devaney, the legend here at Nebraska, the head coach from 62 to 72. Much deserved honor. The statue just outside the stadium. That's his son and his grandson there to unveil it.
When you talk about the tradition of Bob Devaney, what he brings to the table of this program, looking back on the history. Interesting story. My sophomore year, I had the opportunity to go outside after a game. Somebody called me over. I got inside this maroon Cadillac. They said, Eric, sit down in this car. I sat in there. They said, this is Bob Devaney's car. So didn't ever get a chance to meet Bob Devaney, but I got a chance to sit in his maroon Cadillac.
There you go. Yeah, we just had a chance to see an excellent effort there by Amani Cross, picking up 10 yards just inside the 1 yard line. The sophomore out of Gainesville, Georgia, and he goes ahead and finishes what he just started. Amani Cross, touchdown Huskers, 55-13.
I think the conclusion of this drive right here is Terrell Newby, Tommy Armstrong, the youth, the future that you're seeing at Nebraska, the building of depth. This is what they're looking for. They're looking at some young linemen. How are they going to play? How are they going to perform in big games? And when they get opportunities, it's a big game for the guys that are stepping in as the second team, third team guys, because this is their opportunity to prove that they belong in their position and that they can play it.
Amir Abdullah, a couple of touchdown runs tonight. Amani Cross now has his first, and it's 56-13. There is Bob Devaney, legendary coach from 62 to 72. The statue now just outside the building in Nebraska of 56-13. That's a good look at the quarterbacks there for Nebraska. The here and now, the experienced number 3, Taylor Martinez. Excellent outing tonight. 3 touchdown tosses, 0 picks. Just to his right, the redshirt freshman, number 4, Tommy Armstrong Jr. just led a touchdown drive. Amani Cross with the touchdown run. Couple of impressive runs to cap off that drive. And as long as we're talking quarterbacks, we also saw Ron Kellogg III. He has played tonight as well, the 5th-year senior.
It was definitely encouraging to see a long drive put together by Tommy Armstrong and the young core that came in there and did their thing. Tim Beck, Bo Pelini, got to be pretty excited about the youth.
Now it's time for the John Deere Gator Game Changer.
We look at Randy Gregory and what effect he had on the game and what effect he had on Alan Bridgeford, just being in his face constantly. And as the game wore on, it really affected the way that Bridgeford threw the football. Took an extra step, tried maybe throwing it a little bit early. His receivers weren't ready. Deontay Evans picking that one off, and Gregory just using his hands, getting alignment off of him, and then using his speed and his quickness to get to the quarterback. That's Bridgeford.
Seen as the top junior college defensive end prospect at Arizona Western last year. A year ago, he lost that season due to injury, but 2011, he was outstanding. In fact, Bo Pelini telling us yesterday that he is our best pass rusher. And Eric pointing out right there, highlighting the kind of afternoon and evening he had.
Well, I think in the Big Ten, when this conference play gets started, you're going to need pass rushers. You know, this league is kind of moving to more of a passing type attack. And so when you have players like Randy Gregory and Avery Moss, and you're able to get in the quarterback's face, that makes a huge difference in the outcome of the game.
New quarterback for Southern Miss is Nick Mullins. Alan Bridgeford had some moments, but in that first quarter, he had 2 interceptions returned for touchdown. One by Stanley Jean-Baptiste and one by Deontay Evans.
And maybe Southern Miss doing a little bit of the same thing that Nebraska is here. Try to get some of the young guys in, and you're talking about a true freshman right here, Nick Mullins, and get him some snaps in a game that, you know, of course the game's out of hand, but an opportunity to see what he can do in a game-type situation. Can he pick up the reads? Can he relax the nerves? Can he make the right throws? So we'll see what happens here on this drive.
Mullins with some anxious feet there, dumps it out of the backfield. Brackens run out of bounds by Daniel Davey, backup corner here. Penalty marker down at the 21-yard line.
Personal foul. Defense, number 44. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Bo Pelini, you can read his lips, he says unbelievable.
That's right, and our referee, Alex Kemp, isn't going to let that one slide. It was just a little bit late, a little errant.
Little nudge.
Little nudge, and they're going to throw the flag.
First down and 10 from the 45. Southern Miss run game. Out to the 50-yard line, gain of 5. Let's go to Chicago and check in with Dave Revson.
Thank you, Paul. Indiana trying to come back on Navy. Check out the effort here from Shane Wynn. Dives for the pylon. It's a touchdown, but Middies on the move again. They're up 10 in the 4th.
All right, Dave, thank you. Southern Miss on the move here a little bit. Strong run and a 15-yard penalty. Look at the Indiana Hoosiers last week. 73 points. We knew that offense was going to be good. Looking forward to watching the Hoosiers work this fall. Nebraska defense getting gashed here a little bit on the ground the last couple of plays after a gain of 5. That one good for 8 yards. And a Southern Miss first down.
Well, you got some young guys in there still, and, you know, and one of the things that they're looking for is, you know, who can play in a situation, who can raise that energy level on defense. And, you know, if there's still no really proven starters out there, I mean, you're only in the 2nd game of the season, they're still looking for young guys, even those sophomores, guys that are playing together. How do they complement one another? Are they playing within our system? We're looking for guys to make plays that can make a big difference in this defense in the long run of the season.
First down and 10 now for the Golden Eagles off that left side. Nebraska defense there, no gain.
Guys, I'll tell you, the real big deal is it's got to be a confidence booster. If you're a guy like Curry or Santos or Cisse from last week and you've come under some scrutiny and some fire maybe for the way that you played, this is the best answer to any question anybody has about your character.
Come back on Saturday and play well the next time. Best thing you can do. Second down, 9 now from the 41. Mullins out of the backfield again. And that's a heck of a play there by great Nick Mullins. Got some mention from Bo Pelini yesterday when he was meeting with us, showing us the skills there.
Yeah, it's another freshman, a redshirt freshman, Greg Mullen. And I'll tell you what, he gets off the sideline pretty fast, but something to celebrate there. Make a big play and put the offense in a tough position and a 3rd and long. Hey, you're looking for playing time right here, guys. Guys are looking for an opportunity to contribute more to this defense. So this is an opportunity for them to show what they're made of, show their speed, show their ferociousness, their physicality.
Opportunity to show they ought to be trusted on Saturdays, not just in practice. And missed opportunity there for the Nebraska defense as the Southern Miss running game. Getting it done here. Number 30, Jalen Richard for a gain of 27.
Yeah, and Bo Pelini not very happy about that play. It's about the biggest running play they've had all day. And looks like they got some pretty good blocking on the outside and just out of position at the linebacker spot right there. Bo's kind of looking around, making some comments.
State Farm postgame coming up here. 10-14 and counting left with the Huskers on top 56-13. Mo Cisse down to make the tackle, and that's a gain of 6.
I tell you, Coach Pelini down here talking to his linebacking core, just go make the play. You had 2 guys in one hole. Richard found the backside crease, and all of a sudden they're out the back end for a big play. Guys got to do their job and play their responsibility.
I can remember a number of times, Eric and Damon, where the scoreboard said that we won by a whole lot of points, but when you don't play well down the stretch, that's what the coaches seem to remember, and they kind of carry that into Monday and Tuesday.
Well, it's a low blow when you here it is, and you might have an opportunity to show that you can play this game on this defense, and you're going to let them score here later in the 4th quarter.
Kendrick Hardy gets 13. I wonder if Bo Pelini is asking for some of his starters to come back in. And nice play there by Jackson. Coming on the blitz, brings him down at the 4.
Well, it's definitely character check here on the goal line. You go, Thad Randall still in the game, and Jason Anker comes on in, and got to be stout up front. You got a big lead, but you got to play 4 quarters.
2nd and goal now from the 4. Zaire Anderson still in the game, as Eric pointed out. Starter Thad Randall, number 53, also still in there. Jackson comes in on the blitz, and he gets his man. Jackson drops Kendrick Hardy for a loss of 3.
Total confusion right here with Hardy and Mullins as he really botched the play call. Mullins open to the right. Running back went the wrong way, and they still tried to make the handoff. The best thing the quarterback right there, Mullins, should have done is just take the ball and follow your running back and try to get in the end zone.
3rd down and 7. Southern Miss did not score a touchdown in the first half. Ridgeford fired one early in that 3rd quarter, but that's all they have for TDs. Holmes with time, back of the end zone, incomplete. Couple of Cornhuskers there. Jackson, Rose there as well.
Good coverage on that defensive play right there, and really had 2-on-1 outside. I thought he was going to take it to the outside, but looking for the receiver, Z route coming across, and the under route in the back of the end zone.
Nick Mullins coming on for Alan Bridgeford, going for it. 4th down and goal from the 7. Timeout called by Southern Miss. 8:02 left. Nebraska on top 56-13. The intensity on the faces of those Nebraska coaches. Forget about the scoreboard. We've got 4th and goal coming up. Second largest crowd ever here at Memorial Stadium. Over 90,000. You don't see many empty seats, even though Nebraska up 56-13. Feel a lot of energy here on 4th down and goal from the 7. Mullins flushed down to the pocket. Going back across his body. That ball is picked off. Nebraska holds on 4th and goal. Corey Cooper. Nebraska now has 3 interceptions this evening.
And that's really exciting by the defense to get this interception on the goal line. That is a huge play. I thought it was interesting that they brought Michael Rose and Zaire Anderson both in so they could get those run fits if they decided to run that football. But they did a great job in coverage and extending this play. And you see Avery Moss on the outside battling and fighting. Almost got close to Mullins, and then Mullins decides to throw the errant pass, and Corey Cooper's right there to pick it off. There's about 4 defenders. He should have just took that one and tried to get a touchdown by running it, but knew he was going to get INT right there.
Expect the Nebraska run game here to take over. Terrell Newby, talented freshman, and he picks up 2. Now with the score. Go ahead, Damon. Go ahead.
Hey, it's the game within the game down here, too. During the long television break in the timeout, you literally have veterans like Josh Mitchell and Banderas, if you want to call him a veteran tonight, telling the younger guys how to play the coverage versus Southern Miss's Sept. And lo and behold, they brought pressure with Rose. Turnover in the red zone. That's how you got to play good total team defense.
Hey, Damon, how do you think the defense responded today? Obviously, the scoreboard says pretty well, 56-13, but what did you see on the field after the talk all week was about that 600 yards of total offense they gave up against Wyoming?
Well, I think they showed 2 things. Number 1, they got a little rubber band, a little bounce back, a little snap back ability where they came back with their daubers down and played hard. Number 2 is the communication has been at the utmost. They've talked and they've made adjustments. We've seen the drag route, the flare, the back leave the backfield, and Nebraska make adjustments and play better. That's what you're looking for from week 1 to week 2.
The injured Golden Eagle being helped off the field, number 97, Raheem Nunez Roches, defensive lineman. There's a number of ways, or there are a number of ways, Eric, to look at the Nebraska defense and how young they are, how inexperienced they are. We talked about the fact that there are 10 redshirt or true freshmen on the 2 deep. Another way is looking at it, 8 of the top 10 tacklers from last year are gone.
That's right. You're relying on young players to make plays, and Bo Pelini knows that. He doesn't have the depth that he really like right now, but this is how you build it. You build depth by getting those young guys in.
Offside. Defense. Contact was made by number 46. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Let's go back to Chicago and check in quickly with Dave Revson.
Thanks, Paul. Game you can see on BTN to go. Minnesota at New Mexico State. David Cobb fights his way through here. 14-yard touchdown run. Gophers on top of the Aggies, 13-0.
All right, Dave, thank you. And I hear Minnesota. I think about Eric Crouch making his way to call the Gophers in Western Illinois, I believe, next week, right?
Right, yeah, looking forward to it. You know, the game itself and what Minnesota has done with Jerry Kill in their 3rd year, I'm really excited to see what they can do and watch them in person and visit with Coach Kill and just understand his demeanor. That's one thing I've really enjoyed about him, being at media days. Seems like a great coach, a great fit for Minnesota.
As long as we're talking next week and we're looking at Bo Pelini, I wonder if he's thinking at all, and probably not yet, but one of the biggest games, not only the Big Ten, but in the entire nation next week, going to take place right here. A couple of nationally ranked teams, Nebraska, UCLA.
Well, I think your
initial thoughts.
Right, exactly. It's a huge game, you know, UCLA and what they can do in the running game, and Brett Hundley in the passing game, and you know they're bringing a top-notch quarterback here to Lincoln to play, and they've got some speed, they've got some talent, and they are going to run the football and throw it. They're going to be unbalanced. They're going to move fast. And I think that Nebraska has got a lot of work to do defensively to try to stop that still. Even though this is the 2nd game, they've done better. This is really encouraging for them going into a big game against UCLA next week.
Number 22, the I-back now for Nebraska, is King Frazier. Damon, I want you to come on back in here. You mentioned that the Nebraska defense had the rubber band ability. I think I might have made up a term there, but you said they bounced back and played well here today. How do you think the Husker D going to match up against that UCLA offense?
Well, it's going to be the consummate cat and mouse. I mean, Nebraska's got a lot of tape on what UCLA did to them last year to have some success in 2.5 of those 4 quarters. And Nebraska wants a little bit of payback. So I think as the young guys grow, they'll use tonight as kind of a springboard. And then the good portion of next week will be about film study. Ricky Hundley and company were explosive in week 1 in racking up a ton of yards, and then they've got the old footage from last year to remind them of what they need to do to grow and get better this week.
Guys, what do you know about this Nebraska team? And you can start with the offense or go to the defense here on 2nd down and 1. As the Huskers pick up another first down. Now they are inside of Southern Miss territory once again after a gain of 6. Eric, I'll start with you. 8 days ago, you hadn't seen this team play yet. Now you've watched them play 2 different times. What do you know now that you didn't know last Friday?
Well, offensively, I think the talk is protecting the football. You know, Taylor Martinez not making that bad decision late down the field or throwing a pass that's really not there. But tucking in and running when he has the opportunity and taking care of the football. You know, no fumbles, no turnovers. I think that's so key when it comes from a senior leader and a quarterback and a captain for your team. Now, defensively, I think we're all pretty shocked at what happened. I think you really have to credit the Wyoming team and what they brought to the table and how they prepared for that game. And Brett Smith is a heck of a quarterback, and I think they understand that. And so they saw that, but coming into tonight and being able to be physical and stop the run and stop the throws is huge.
Holding. Offense,
I think for me, it's easy. I can sum it up in one word, and it's resiliency. The way that Nebraska could hang in there and show resiliency from week 1 to week 2. And after I get over them being resilient, guys, it's their ability to learn, to apply what we've heard all week. This staff talked a lot about, hey, it's about correcting the little things and staying with the process. I know fans get tired of hearing about the process, but when you see it manifest itself tonight, it gives you hope that going into next week against a very explosive bunch, that the Teflon-like qualities and the resiliency that they've showed going from week 1 to week 2 will serve them well against UCLA.
And Eric, you mentioned how well Taylor Martinez has taken care of the football so far through 2 games. I think you could point to a number of ways to say, hey, he's played very well, just as you would expect someone who started 41 games. I go right to that touchdown-to-interception ratio. 6 TDs and only 1 interception. Right. You add that kind of efficiency with the kind of threat he is outside the pocket when he needs to be. I think he's off to a great start here.
Yeah, he's off to a tremendous start, and I think having these 2 games go the way that they did, I mean, they weren't happy last week with 530 yards, but that's just the mentality of this defense. They want to go fast. They want to perform. They're not really interested in the statistics. They're more interested in how they feel and how they perform on the football field. And I think that's just a credit to Taylor Martinez, a credit to Kenny Bell, the leaders on this team, Quincy Anunua, and the running back Amir Abdullah, and how explosive they are and really what they bring to the table. And hey, they've got their work cut out for them next week. UCLA coming to town. They know they're going to be a physical team. They're going to play physical for 4 quarters. They haven't been put in a situation really like that where they've had to perform, or if they get down, what happens? You know, they weren't really down against Wyoming. Wyoming came back on them, so what happens if they get down? The character could get tested, and we'll learn a lot about this team, about Nebraska's team offensively, and then more so even defensively next week against UCLA.
Just had a look there at number 80 for that Nebraska offense. Kenny Bell had a touchdown reception late in the 2nd quarter. Also a huge return of over 60 yards. So a good outing for Kenny Bell on special teams and also as a receiver. 2:08 left. The Huskers in control late in the 4th, leading 56-13. .208 left in the 4th quarter. Nebraska on top, 56-13. It's hard to get through the entire complex here and look at all. Well, they have the world's longest telegram, first of all, but all the trophies, the awards, you got to cut out a lot of time to see it all.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is a pretty nice picture right there, the 3 Sears trophies.
And here is tonight's hardest working player, presented by Duluth Trading, Josh Mitchell, the junior corner. Remember, he had an excellent form tackle there in that first half as the Huskers prevented Southern Miss from scoring a touchdown until the 3rd quarter.
Well, I never really liked talking about a guy's size because I was always judged about being a small quarterback, but 5'11", 160 pounds, he comes up and he was laying the wood out of the secondary, and I think that's just a great testament of how tough he is in that mentality of black shirt defense. You know, it's always looming over everybody that steps on this field as a defensive player is the black shirts of the past. You know, how did they play? What did they represent? And I think it's a very important thing to understand that where the history came from. And I think he definitely played like a black shirt tonight, Josh Mitchell.
And dealing with that history, while it's an honor to try and carry it on it sometimes can make your job a little tougher here in Nebraska, too.
Absolutely. The stands are set so high. And when you have a game like this defensively, when you hold a team that throws the ball so much and gets in hurry-up situations and tempos, and we hold them to about 280 yards, a huge improvement from 602 the week before.
Approaching the 1-minute mark as Nebraska up 56-13. Taylor Martinez had a big afternoon, or a big evening. 15 out of 23, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Amir Abdullah, 2 games this season, both over 100 yards. 17 carries, buck 14, and a couple of touchdowns. And his yards per carry, not bad at 6.7. And after so many questions and so much discussion about the Husker defense, at least for a week, they can put those aside. 2 times in that first quarter, the Black Shirts put points on the board. Stanley Jean-Baptiste had a pick 6. Moments later, so did Ciante Evans, and the Huskers were off and running at that point. This one never in doubt for Bo Pelini. Gives a hug to an old friend, Todd Monken. They coached together at LSU in 2005 and also 2006. Taylor Martinez, big afternoon, big evening, and the Huskers improved to 2-0, 56-13. Quickly, Eric, your final thoughts on what you saw tonight?
Well, I thought it was a tremendous game for Nebraska. They came in. I know the big question mark was defense, and I think they proved that they can improve and that they're smart players and they can learn a lot from Coach Pelini and John Papuchis in that film study.
Huskers win 56-13. For Eric Crouch and Damon Benning, I'm Paul Burmeister. Thanks for being with us in Lincoln. We send you now to Indiana Navy.